Ross, what's up, man? What's good with you, brother?
What's up, man? We're just here to separate the weak from the strong.
Damn right. We also here to keep the fucking foot on the damn necks, man. Okay, so let's get into it. Um, First and foremost, um, we obviously don't wish any harm, any foul play. We don't wish anything bad on anybody, regardless of the age. Um, Even if it's LeBron, even if it's LeBron's son, if anything, when you hear stories and you hear things of the nature of cardiac arrest, anything that has to deal with the heart, you got to have a heart. Let me say it again. Anything that has to deal with the heart, you have to have a heart. And honestly, um, at first, when I first heard the story about Bronny James, my first indication was, wow. I hope that he's better. I hope there's a speedy recovery. My prayers go out to him, and I'm hoping that he will be all right. But then I started seeing other news that became startling. We talked about it offline. Obviously, I talked about it with Richie Rich. Obviously, he's going to be chiming in pretty soon. And what I was getting, not only on you guys' end, but also from what I was reading, was how fast he recovered from having cardiac arrest. And typically, you know, this has affected my family personally in two different instances. Regardless of the age, when people have anything that has to deal with heart, heart failure, cardiac arrest, anything of that nature, Shaquille O'Neal's son's situation was a more organic and natural process because of how long it took for him to recover. And even then, he's not really playing basketball at the same level that he played basketball before because of the fact that he has this condition. So I find it very interesting that Bronny James ended up having cardiac arrest and then he's cleared all of a sudden. And then now they're talking about him continuing back to playing basketball, a contact sport that you're going 94 feet up and down the court and you're really exerting your heart muscles. So could this be credible or could this be foul play? Could this be a cardiac arrest that happened under normal instances? Or was this young kid, barely 19 years old, 18 years old, on performance enhancement drug? So this is the questions that we have to ask ourselves. We know his father is connected and involved with performance enhancement drugs, especially during the Miami Heat years through biogenesis. So we have to ask these questions. So what's your take on this, Tom Ross?
Um, it could be a myriad of things. Like we would never know, to be honest, unless um, he pops dirty on the piss test or whatever. So we have to presume he's clean. It just
Mm-hmm.
seems fishy. Um, it could not be PEDs at all, and it could be the vaccine. Since the vaccine, a lot of young people, mind you, people have passed out and died before, especially playing football. Young, but it's a rarity. Somebody this age has a heart attack,
Mm-hmm.
But we have to consider everything, and we have to consider the times as well. Because now it seems like it's damn near every month some young person is passing out or actually dying. You know what I'm saying? So we have to consider the vax as well. Um, we don't know the extent, or we don't know exactly. Guys, excuse me. We don't know extent. We don't know exactly the ailments. We don't know exactly like the things the implications he was going through before he passed out, whatever. But a lot of athletes are passing out due to blood clots as well. and blood clots in a certain area, your body can cause a cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason why a lot of people were so against getting that vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
because when you put something foreign in your body, you don't know what's going to happen to you. You just don't know what's going to happen to you, and unless you put in a predicament where you have no choice, you should steer away from that. Even then, you know what I'm saying. Me personally, I was put in a predicament where I had no choice, but had my money been correct, I still wouldn't have took it. I would have been like, fuck, I don't need this shit. I got 100,000, 300,000 saved in the bank. I, you know what I mean. I'm gonna push this all the way out and and see what the inspector general is gonna say about this. But my money wasn't like that to play those type of games, so I had to play ball. But a lot of people, they have their faith in the government, and from day one they just took it. They didn't do any research. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't go in to see which one's more potent, which one's more stronger than the other, which one's causing more defects than the other. Um,
Mm-hmm.
One thing I realized is a lot of people in the military who took it didn't really get messed up by it like a lot of civilians. So we may have been given a more high quality, less abrasive dose than they gave actual civilians, being
Mm-hmm.
considering the fact that we're we're property of the government. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a regular civilian, what's stopping them from giving you something uh, that's going to take you out of here? So they say they try to get a percentage of people out of here anyway every year. You know what I'm saying? So what's stopping them? You know what I mean? The government don't necessarily need you like they need a government like they need someone who actually a government employee. So these are things you got to consider when they just introduce a new vaccine all of a sudden. They've been working on cancer for how long? They don't have a cure for that, but they developed a cure for COVID overnight, seemingly in 8 9 months. Like that type of thing should have had your head ticking. You know what I'm saying? Like hold on, this thing just this thing just sprouted a year ago, and you guys already got a cure. Who'd you test it on? Oh, you want to test it on me? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. A lot of us, black people, a lot of us are too trusting. Too we have more faith in the government than we have our own family members, man. I have family members and friends ask me damn near every day, "Did you take it? Did you take it? Did you take it?" Man, I took it. Did you take it? Like it's kind of like misery loves company. They knew they took it. Now they want everybody they knew in the world to take it. Just in case
Exactly.
they won't die alone and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they won't die alone. So it could be foul play. It could be foul play, or it could be that vax, or it
Mm-hmm.
could be maybe he's the rare young man who have a heart attack, because these things do happen as well. You know what I'm saying? They happen in football a lot. They happen in boxing a lot. But the chances are, at that age, that it could be foul play more than something natural. And even Shaquille O'Neal's kid could be foul play. Think about us sitting here right now. We don't know if Bronny's really okay. That's a statement put out by a lawyer
Mm-hmm.
that he's okay. We don't. People at this level, they move funny. They move according to perception and how they're gonna be perceived, and they do
Uh-huh.
things that they think make sense to them, but don't make sense to people who have common sense. Okay, so your son just had a heart attack, a cardiac arrest, and you're not saying he's recovering, but you're saying he's good and on track to recover and play ball already. It seems like that statement is made to keep the NBA open,
Facts.
to keep the NBA's mind open for you, more so than your son actually being okay. And you see, these are things that could split a
Uh-huh.
family. Because a nigga could be like, man,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't really okay. That you made that statement. What do you care about more? Do you care
Uh-huh.
about me going to the NBA, or do you care about my health? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Uh-huh.
you gotta think about it, man. Every tall nigga, kids don't necessarily be super tall, especially not at no young age. Um, ain't no telling. These guys have access to all type of shit that we'll never have. And if you're a kid coming up, you just taking your vitamins. You just taking your vitamins, so they say. And then next you know,
Uh-huh.
you get bigger, you stronger. You 6'10", 6'11", and you 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we will never know, man.
Uh-huh.
We on the outside looking in. But I can say it's something fishy about this. There's definitely something fishy about this situation, considering the fact what made it fishy. It came off fishy from the beginning because he's so young, having these complications. What made it
Uh-huh.
super fishy is the fact that they're saying he's recovered already. Like, come
Exactly.
on, motherfuckers don't recover that fast from the flu. You have the flu a couple of days, it take you a couple of days to recover from it.
Exactly.
You ain't the same. You ain't ready to go hoop and shit. You might not be bedridden, but you ain't ready to go play full court at the highest levels. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So if the nigga really recovered, God is good, God is great. That's one thing. And the nigga ain't really recovered, then that he recovered all already shit. It could be a claim just for the NBA won't lose interest.
Facts.
Yeah.
Man, listen, man. You know, when you go in that zone, it's just you got to be like the you got to be like the congregation, man. You just got to listen, man. You got to pay attention and allow the conversation to freely flow the way it's supposed to. But here's the thing, man. I'm more leaning because now that you said that and you brought up the jab, because it has been documented that he did take the jab. We know LeBron James has fucking take the jab. So we already know what LeBron does, his family's gonna follow. I mean, it is what it is. That's the nature of the beast, and that's what's actually gonna take place. But my thing is this: if you already took the jab, which already puts you in a compromising situation from a cellular structure standpoint, right? Because you're taking a virus that really your body's foreign to. You don't know what kind of complications your body's going to have. And mind you, this is the thing. We could say that we're healthy, right? But here's the thing with health. People really want to know my version of what healthy means. Healthy means how healthy you are at that period of time. What do I mean by that? You are as healthy as every year you go to your doctor and you do your physical. How your physical evaluation is at that time dictates how healthy you are in that moment of time. I don't give a
Mhm.
fuck how much you go to the gym. I don't give a fuck how much you eat, right? If something is discovered in that period of time, your health is compromised in that moment. So to me, health is a momentary thing. It's not more of a, oh, you're always healthy. It's how healthy you are in that period of time. Because you get that blood work and that blood work reveals something, then something is compromised. And now you have to be progressive to take action. This is why I tell men, um, Do not be barbaric and do not be archaic when it comes to your physical. Make sure every fucking year you go and get that fucking physical. Because if you
Yep.
don't get that fucking physical every year, you're not gonna be ahead of the game to know what the fuck is going on with you. And I know, you're like, well, I feel okay. I feel fine. Everything's okay. It may not very well be okay. There may be an underlying issue that may have just started. And if you could tackle it with modern medicine, modern technology, modern savvy, if you can tackle that motherfucker right then and there, tackle it so that you can be on the progressive end and get it knocked out.
Hey, I know you see my head going down, going up. I'm just
Mhm.
sending notifications of the live on my end.
That's fine.
So when I'm not, I'm still listening to you. I'm just sending notifications of the live on my end.
That's fine. I wasn't even paying attention to that, to be honest with you. Um, I know I know at the end of the day you good on your end, so I'm not even paying attention to that. But and I appreciate you doing that for us. Because at the same time I'm being proactive and making sure that we tag. I'm doing all of the tags while the lives are happening. I've been doing that for
Right.
every live so that way we get maximum participation. But anyways, the reason why we have to put up foul play and the reason why we have to say hoax is a possibility. We're not saying that that is the reality because, like Ross said, we don't know. We're not there. We're only speaking off of our intellect. We're speaking off of our years of experience and as us as men and what we've experienced in life. We're speaking off of the leagues and worlds of common sense that me and Ross have, and our common sense, for some reason, it keeps proving itself to be evident and right time and time again. So we're speaking off of that, and we're speaking off of the volition of hold up, something here is fishy and something here is not adding up because again, cardiac arrest. What is cardiac arrest? Cardiac arrest is when your heart stops. That's a very serious condition. Ross is right. Like, who the heck is going out there and playing 94 feet of basketball? And we're talking about high level conditioning of basketball after your heart has stopped. And we don't even know how many times. See, we just hear he had cardiac arrest. We don't know how many times his heart stopped because they're in cardiac arrest. It could be your heart stopped once for some people. For some people, your heart could stop multiple times. So we don't know how many times this man's heart, this young man's heart, call him a kid because let's be honest, me and Ross could have him. He could be our fucking kid. So we might as well say kid. If you could be my kid, you can be Ross's kid. No disrespect, I call you my kid. This kid right here, we don't know how many times his heart may have possibly stopped. So the bottom line is this: why is he being put in a position to where he can go back on the basketball court to play basketball? That's irresponsible. I hold LeBron accountable, image or not, because Ross brought up a point. You're trying to save your image because you're trying to go to the NBA. Fuck that bullshit. If I just had cardiac arrest, I need to make sure first and foremost my son goes through all the clearances. See, I like the way Shaquille O'Neal and them did it because in that moment in time, they didn't give a fuck about he was an NBA prospect and we got to protect the brand and we got to protect this. They didn't give a fuck about none of that bullshit. In their mind, it was more of we need to make sure my son is okay. My son is functional. My son can breathe. My son can live. So this begs the question: is perception more powerful? Is perception more of an influential thing over your actual health? And are you willing to compromise? Then this also speaks to the psyche of how the James move. And when I say the James, I'm talking about the James family. Because when it comes to the James family, they're always trying to be quote unquote PC favored. What do I mean when I say PC favored? They're always trying to make sure they're in the good graces of public relations. They're always trying to make sure that they're on the positive side of the spin of the story. But this is one of those moments where you don't give a fuck about being on the positive side of the spin of the story. It's
Right.
about the health of your family member. So this is why we're wondering foul play could this have been performance enhancement drugs? The reason why I'm mentioning this as well is because LeBron James has been linked to performance enhancement drugs his whole basketball career, especially during his time with the Miami Heat. And it's not a foregone conclusion, and it's not something that is not obvious that couldn't have taken place, that his son, being that he has access already, because you got to understand, LeBron is a first generation millionaire, right? His son is the second generation. We just talked about this offline with me and Ross. Well, second generation in the sense of um second generation in the sense of your son has the access and the ability with with the disposable income and salary of having millions of dollars to be able to be under that pressure, be under the scope, because you got to understand, what is the pressure that he's under? He is LeBron James's son. I'm not LeBron James's son. I don't understand the level of pressure that comes with that. I don't understand what that world looks like. And I don't even want to begin to understand what that world looks like. And now I have to live up to that from a basketball standpoint, from an NBA standpoint. So we cannot sit here and say from a foregone conclusion that he may possibly have not taken performance enhancement drugs. Now, couple that with the fact that he took the jab, that's a deadly combination. Because performance enhancement drugs already creates complications in your body. The
Yep.
complications that you have to deal with is you may potentially have a heart attack. You may potentially have blood clots. You may potentially ruin organs. You may potentially ruin intestines. You may potentially not be able to get your dick hard and fuck. These are the complications that you have to deal with when you take performance enhancement drugs. Then on top of that, the jab. What is the complications with that? Heart failure, blood issues, not being able to breathe. Your breathing is compromised. So you guys see how all of this is combined, and all of this is impacted. And let's be honest, celebrities are not superhuman. They're no different than me and you. At the end of the day, we're all humans. Just celebrities, just what? They got more money, but they take a shit just like you. And they, last time I checked, they die just like you. They fall out just like you. Some of them die worse than us because of the substance abuse that they on, the drugs that they on, and the access that they have to more shit. So they end up putting more shit in their bodies, and their lives end up becoming more of a sedentary style of living. I believe, and this is my understanding of it. I could be 1,000% wrong, but I believe that Bronny James felt pressured to live up to his father, and I believe that there's some foul play going on, and I believe that there's something that has to deal with performance enhancement drugs. That's what I believe, because he's not the first one that we're hearing that has taken it at that young age. Heck, you got these young bodybuilders that are coming out. They are short as hell, 5'5", 5'4", 5'3". These kids are like 14, 15, 16. We've seen them, Ross, like on YouTube. They even have YouTube channels. They're not even 18 years old and they're taking this shit. So it's not a foregone conclusion that him at 18 years old is taking it to give himself an added advantage. Heck, Stephen Curry took, and a lot of people didn't notice, because Stephen Curry wanted to be 6'3" and not 6'1". Stephen Curry was supposed to be 6'1". Stephen Curry did a procedure to tap into his pituitary gland so he can grow 2 more inches. That went under the radar. Nobody talked about it, but he did that because he wanted to be the exact height of his father. He wanted to be 6'3" coming into the league, because he was 6'1" when he was at Davidson, but he did that procedure to tap into his pituitary gland to grow 2 inches. That is not performance enhancement drug. But what I'm trying to say is, look at what basketball players are willing to do
Right.
just to put themselves in a position so that they can say that they have this height, or say that they meet the
Well,
standard of basketball.
being 6'1" and 6'3" is a totally different. People don't understand. This is the reason I only give so much credit for it to players who are huge, and their size is a big part of their game, because in basketball, more so than any sport, your size could make you more effective than someone more skilled than you.
Mm-hmm.
Like take a Shaq. Shaq had a little jump hook with the right hand, but Shaq was mainly big.
Yep.
Elijah was skilled, right? Elijah was a real basketball player. Shaq
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. Shaq was just big. He threw his weight around, and because the basketball being big and being tall is more important than skills. They always say you can't teach that. This is the reason why I only give Shaq so much credit for those championships. He was
Mm-hmm.
just big. But when you think about the big moments in those championships, you think about Kobe a whole lot. You think about even Robert Horry. You even think about Rick Fox and shit more than you think about Shaq. Shaq is really on the bench the majority of those critical moments of the game. I say that to say this. So being 6'1" and being 6'3" are two different whole they're two different galaxies playing
Mm-hmm.
basketball. You can just imagine how effective Isaiah Thomas or a Allen Iverson would have been if they were 6'7",
Facts.
6'6", with their skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being relentless as they were. You know what I'm saying? So someone wanting to do what it takes to get a certain height cannot be far fetched. My thing with this is because of due to the legality of that accusation, um, allegedly allegedly, the word allegedly may want to be thrown before saying that this guy's actually doing that because
Mm-hmm.
you could get jammed up. We really don't know if he's doing that or not. But the thing about it is, you can't put nowadays. You can't put nothing past nobody. Really, there's normal people who don't even have um, millions of dollars on the line that take performance enhancement things. There's
Facts.
people who don't need it who take a Viagra on the regular. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how you taking that thing, you could be doing irreparable things to your heart as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's just depending on somebody's dynamic or how they think, their integrity levels, and this and the third. You can't really put nothing past nobody in this day and age. But you also have to remember that damn near everybody took the jab as well. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know we don't know what's the complications of that. We don't know. It's a foreign substance people put into their body that had all
Mm-hmm.
types of stuff in it. We just don't know. But um, here's something else to think about. Here's something else to think about. Let's say he is doing it. How many other young men are doing that as well, trying to get an upper hand? You know,
Mm-hmm.
because while his dad has the money, we can't always assume it's just the guys who got the money because let's be honest, these agents, these people who want to tap into because they see young black men as walking money as walking banks to be milked, right? And
Primarily.
a lot of us are raised to be milked by the white man and to be enslaved by the white man to work for them for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
our life due to not having
Mm-hmm.
no daddy around, right? So
Mm-hmm.
who's to say an agent don't approach these young guys who don't got the money and say, man, you know, you have the skills, but you're really lacking the height.
Mm-hmm.
These pills right here could tap into your pituitary and get you the inches that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And the side effect, it makes everything bigger. You know, young men, everything is geared around sex. So
Mm-hmm.
now So now you're taking these pills and shit. You getting taller, your voice getting deeper. You're 13 years old. You sound like a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? You don't even go through that weird voice stage where you go through your puberty to where you got a light voice that you rarely have a voice at all. That your voice gets deep. Like nah, your ass jump right to talking to a grown man due to those hormone pills you on the shit. And but next you know down the line you have the complications.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is possible. This is America, man. Anything it is possible. anything. You know what I'm saying? You have to consider all things, but you have to be careful when you say, um, "I know for certain this is happening," or you can speculate because that's what Tasha K going through now. You know, Tasha K speculated some shit about Cardi B that she can't substantiate, and
Mhm.
now she getting drugged through the streets and litigation. You know what I'm saying? And basically, she's working to pay Cardi B right now. Like all that YouTube money, she's working to pay Cardi B because she don't know how to use the word allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful in that sense.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you saying that because at the end of the day, that's the reality behind it, and that's the legality. Um, and when it's all said and done, what Ross is saying, he's absolutely right in the fact that the word allegedly should be used. But again, I'm not saying in my mind, I'm not sitting here saying, this is what I feel. I'm just saying more so, this is what I believe. I may be wrong. I may be off. I'm not saying this is what actually is happening. I'm just going off of a belief system. This is what I believe. And belief, as we know, is basically thrown in the trash can of what we call opinion because there's no proof behind it. It's just your stance on how you see things. I just find it interesting that with the level of pressure that this kid has, because he does have an immense amount of pressure. His father has done a great job from a marketing standpoint in being able to market his son at a level to where his son is being looked at as a top prospect for NBA.
All
There's
right.
pressure that comes with that. And behind the closed doors, there's a lot of red tape that athletes have talked about in terms of things that they have to do, things that they don't want to do that they have to do in order for them to get themselves to the league. And there have been basketball players that have been mentioning this stuff and it goes under the radar, but they're like, man, people can't even begin to understand all of the red tape or all of the things that we have to do to prepare ourselves, to gear ourselves for 82 games, all of the conditions that teams want us to do to position ourselves. Now, here's the thing. You would think getting a procedure like enhancing your height 2 inches from a pituitary gland standpoint is an innocent procedure. Do you understand there's a lot of side effects that's associated behind even that shit too? Stephen Curry was risking his life just for 2 fucking inches. Because when you try to grow everything and your
Right.
natural body has already maximized its fully growth potential, what you're telling your body is you're artificially enhancing itself. That's complications from what your body has already naturally told you are good enough to do. Stephen Curry's body has told him his best and maximum proficiency is 6'1", not 6'3". So him forcing those 2 inches, there's complications in forcing it. We're talking about he could have had brain lesions, brain tumors. He could have had what's that brain problem that people had? The Real Model TV had it. I forgot the name of that shit.
Aneurysm.
Yeah, aneurysm. He could have had an aneurysm because of stimulating his pituitary gland. He also could have had other complications too, because we've seen this with people that have those huge heights, right? They call them giants. But you and I know what they are. We don't want to get biblical with people. That'll be another topic where we have to explain it and all that stuff. Um, you know, but the bottom line is he could have had what's called dwarfism. And dwarfism is when you have these people, and this is why they're so tall. Their pituitary glands are so stimulated, it's so elevated, and that's why you see they grow to the heights that they grow to, because their pituitary gland has to be stimulated, elevated like that, because the dwarfism, the body has to grow, continuously grow until it maximizes its height. That's why you see guys walking around 13 feet, 11 feet, 10 feet, 7 feet, 9 feet. It takes a lot of stimulation in your pituitary gland to do that. And what he was doing, and that is what's called a natural stimulation, because those people were meant to be that tall. He's doing a artificial version of that.
Right.
So we're talking about Stephen Curry could have walked out of that procedure because he wanted to be 6'3", and basically he understood that the metric said that when you're a point guard, you make the most money. He already mapped it out. You make the most money, you make the most value, you make the most this in your NBA career being 6'3". And he said that's why he had to be 6'3". Plus 6'3" gave him the most opportunity because he wanted to have the same height as his father. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I'm mentioning that to say something that microcosm, something that small, shows you the lengths that NBA players are willing to go. Guys that are coming into the NBA are willing to go so that they could stand out,
Mm-hmm.
so that they could put themselves in another higher level position. So it does not, it's not a foregone conclusion, and it's not far-fetched to ask that question. And you're right. The only way we're gonna know is if later on he pops dirty, but we know that's not gonna happen because let's be honest, he's LeBron's son, and if they couldn't catch LeBron popping dirty, more than likely they're not gonna pop. They're not gonna catch him
Well,
because these guys have the highest level of attorneys, the highest level of this, the highest level of that. So they're not gonna catch you.
yeah, the NBA has the weakest. Put it this way: if you want to cheat, you can cheat in the NBA.
Yep.
The NBA they don't test, and when they do test, they test better and more stringent for marijuana than they do actual P.E.D.s. They want niggas to be jumping
Exactly.
high and to do all this unnatural shit, so they don't just lenient. So you could actually cheat in the NBA. Doesn't necessarily mean you're not doing it, but people need to realize you gotta sit back and you gotta look at what's natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that we saw play, we saw decline and we saw their body break down
Yep.
because it's natural. 82 games a season, flying all over the world, up and down the court, 82 games, and you never have any real injury,
Exactly.
and you're jumping around just like you were jumping around when you was in high school. But now you're bigger, you're stronger than you were in high school. Your bone density is that much bigger. So you're naturally heavier, not just by weight, but your actual bone structure has changed, and you're not getting injured. And the injuries you do have don't be real. It's just because you're embarrassed. So you say, "Oh, we lost because my hand was hurt," and then a week later they see your hand is straight, or your leg is hurt, and you down for the season. But then your team start winning without you, and all of a sudden you, man, I'm healed now. Because you'd be damned if they go to the playoffs without you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your legacy can't take that narrative. So now you got to stop lying, act like you injured because y'all not. Because you got to understand, before LeBron James, when LeBron James said he was injured, the Lakers wasn't even in the playoff picture. He got injured and they started playing better without him and got in the playoff picture. So this nigga hurry up and came back and said he's straight now.
Mm-hmm.
So even without even without the actual factual, one could one could reasonably presume that LeBron James has been using performance enhancement drugs, just because death is unnatural to be
Mm-hmm.
performing. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady was never athletic to begin with, but you're starting to see him decline.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The reason why he's been able to play this long is because he had dedicated his whole life to football, and he don't really eat that much, so his body don't really have food to break down. That's part that ages you too. That's why people who are fat look way young, look way older than what they actually are because the food ages them. The
Mm-hmm.
weight ages them. And you keep your
Mm-hmm.
weight down, the more younger you're gonna look. But Tom Brady it clearly ain't the same. Peyton Manning, he started to decline. These people decline, man. That's natural. When you seeing guys who don't decline, you know what I'm saying? They might keep one thing. If some people are naturally fast, they'll stay fast for the rest of their life. Daryl Green is a naturally fast person. He still runs a 4.3. But everything else has declined. You know what I'm saying? His muscle mass declined. His lateral movement declined. He can just run a linear path super fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's never, he probably going to be an old man that still has some speed on him. But as far as he don't jump as high as he used to no more, certain things not going to be the same when you start inching towards 35, 36, 37, 38,
Mm-hmm.
40. You know what I'm saying? If you still athletic as fuck at 40 years old in all aspects, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's just common sense. That's
Mm-hmm.
what,
It's interesting Ross is saying that because here's the thing. The reason why me and Ross, and then we're gonna give you guys one secret, and it's a secret that all Hebrews need to know. The reason why me and Ross look youthful and we look great for our age, and we damn near reverse the clock. Most Hebrews do not practice this. Me and Ross, we practice this every day. It's a 365. We practice fasting every day, man.
yep.
Fasting saves you like nobody's business. I can't preach that enough.
I still
You
haven't
need to
eaten.
allow your body time to recover. You shouldn't be stuffing your fucking face all the time. You should only be eating when you absolutely need to eat. If motherfuckers start doing this, your weight is gonna go down. You're not gonna be looking older than you have to, and your cells are going to go to what's called autophagy. Your strong cells are going to eat the weak cells, and the weak cells are going to become strong. So you're going to have nothing but strong cells. You're rarely going to be sick. You're always going to be youthful. You're always going to feel like you have energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're going to age, but you're going to be aging like fine wine. It's
Yep.
going to be very fucking slow. You're going to be aging like a sand, basically.
It's 4:53. I still haven't eaten yet.
Yep.
'Cause I don't eat soon as I think about something good to eat, or I eat when I'm hungry
Yep.
and I must. I need to get back to drinking full gallons of water. But yeah, man. But even then, even if you excuse me, even if you're fasting all the time, just due to gravity, right? Just due to life's gravity, you won't be as athletic. Being as super athletic as you was when you're 18, 19 years old, that's performance enhancement, man.
Facts.
You might look good, but you would not be able to do everything you was able to do in your prime just off the strength that think we all have a cycle. Everything in life everything in life goes in a circle. It's what Kobe used to say. It's cyclical, right? Goes what goes around comes around. You have
Mm-hmm.
so many times to stand up, sit down for your knee goes out.
Mm-hmm.
So many times to take a step for your feet start going. Like by the
Mm-hmm.
time you get old, things in your body's supposed to be breaking down. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be the same. So if you're the same or near the same as you was in the prime of your life, going into your 50s, um, that's performance enhancement, man, all day long. People might not be able to prove it, but you just live in the denial if you say that's not performance enhancement. You're basically saying I like this guy, so I'm not gonna say that. But think about it, if LeBron James or somebody that they marketed to be a bad guy in the NBA, because they have heels and they have stars.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was a star. Isaiah Thomas was a heel. No matter what
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan did, they're going to make it seem good because Michael Jordan was making the NBA global. No matter what Isaiah Thomas did, they're going to make it seem bad because Isaiah Thomas was too much for the players. He was a player association president. So you got heels, but now and then in the course of a lifespan, you can become a star that now is a heel, depending
Mm-hmm.
on how they look at you now. Now Michael Jordan is a heel
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want people to emulate Michael Jordan. Now they want to emulate LeBron. But now Michael Jordan is the heel, and no matter
Yeah,
what
because
Michael Jordan
ever
does,
since Kobe passed away, there was no longer the buffer. And then the Last Dance, how people started viewing MJ after the Last Dance, that just amplified it.
because the reason why they started viewing him like that, and just how you know, MJ got to be smart enough to know this is going to happen. He don't care. Is because society has totally changed a whole lot from when MJ was playing until right now. Um, MJ was playing in a time where nothing mattered besides winning. Winning mattered. That's the reason why a guy like Bill Russell could have 5 MVPs because it was about leading your team to victory. Now it's a numbers thing. Everything is numbers. So people don't even watch. What people don't realize is most people don't even watch the NBA. Most people are catching highlights and are speaking on people's careers of games they don't even watch.
Mm-hmm.
They go watch the highlights and then they go to the box score, and that's how they say who's better than who. They don't watch these games. It's readily apparent. The people
Yep.
covering the games don't watch these games, and it's readily apparent. It's readily apparent they're not watching these games. Because
Facts.
if people who actually watch basketball will never compare LeBron James and a Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
A LeBron would be more comparable to a Scottie Pippen. They would never compare these guys. So you got to understand when you're only watching sports for the highlights and the stats, then you're gonna be least likely to call somebody out for performance enhancement because that's what you want to see. Because you see NBA like you see NBA 2K. Those your NBA 2K character is gonna jump 40 inch vertical no matter what. You can have that game for 20 years. Dude's gonna have the same fucking leaping ability.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
in real life,
who
but in real,
maximized people's perception like that? ESPN, like you always say.
right, but in real life, it don't work that way. You might start
Mm-hmm.
off with a 42 inch, and then your shit might drop a quarter of an inch all the way up until the time you retire. You know what I'm saying? That's what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to just steady just catching, jumping up and being able to touch the top of the backboard at 40. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless that's your one thing you're gonna always be able to do is jump high. But if you're able to jump high for the rest of your life, you definitely gonna be able to jump high and run fast. Something don't take a back seat.
Something
You know,
has to give.
something
And
has
a
to
lot
give.
of times, as you age, all of that shit gives. Most basketball players, what you realize is they go through, we call them two phases. They have the athletic phase, they have the phase where they were at their physical dominance, and then they have the skill phase. Once the
Right,
athleticism and the physical dominance is gone, now it's all about the skills. And this is how you could tell LeBron James is not skillful because when it came time to having the skill, I don't have the skills. So
and
I'm
then,
just going to resort to continuous performance enhancement drug. Even Michael
right,
Jordan, remember LeBron James was 38 years old and Michael Jordan said there's no way he's going to get up there and dunk the ball as high as he did. You know, LeBron went ahead and dunked the ball as high as he did. Even Jordan got up and was like, "What the fuck?" But people didn't realize what Jordan was doing underneath the surface was like exposing LeBron. Like in natural evolution, you're not supposed to move like that. You're not supposed to physically do that.
right,
So Jordan is looking like, okay, this motherfucker's on something. But that went over a lot of people's heads when Jordan gave that look. They're
right.
thinking Jordan is looking like he's in shock, like he's impressed. No, he's looking like, how the fuck are you doing this? Because I just said you're not supposed to jump that high at that age. But then
But
you turn around and do that. It's PEDs, man.
nobody's supposed to be doing that at that age.
Nope.
But we live in a generation where people see what they want to see, and what potential is more important than reality. So we live in an age where people will make an argument. They will present an argument against facts just because there's a possibility. They put possibility over probability, and that's when you're
Facts.
living backwards. Um, there's a possibility this remote control could just combust spontaneously, right? Due to
Hmm.
whatever's going on with the fucking batteries. It's a possibility. The probability of that happening is not likely.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Great
There's
example.
it's not likely. You know what I'm saying? Everything around you deteriorates. That's probable. This is going to deteriorate one day. The possibility
Hmm.
of deteriorating right in my hands is unlikely. It'll take
Hmm.
some type of it'll take some type of miracle from God to make this deteriorate while I'm holding it
Yep.
to thin air. But believe it or not, it's deteriorating right now before your eyes. Everything is deteriorating, even
Yep.
our bodies. Right?
Yep.
That's the science. That's the science. That's the reason why when you get a Sega or you get a video game, feel the material. It's grainy, right? After a while, you playing, you ain't doing nothing but taking it out and playing it. It start getting smooth.
Yep.
It start getting smooth. Next, the remote control feels like it's getting smaller. And,
Hmm.
and mind you, might say, no, you just getting bigger. I'm talking about as a grown man. You might say, man, the remote feels like it's getting smaller. It's deteriorating, is what's happening. The
Yep.
consistency is not grainy anymore because it's deteriorating. Now it's smooth. And if you had
Hmm.
a remote control for 40, 50 years, you have it, it's not going to look the same. And if it stays
Hmm.
around, and after you die and your son becomes 50 years old, that remote control is going to be fell apart and shit.
Hmm.
Everything that could be created in this world deteriorates, even us. If you see someone that's not deteriorating or deteriorating way slower than they're supposed to, because they on the P.E.D.S. And one thing the P.E.D.S does, it slows down your process as long as you're taking them.
Hmm.
It slows your process down. Now, once you come off them, if you ever come off them, then next you know, you'll start deteriorating really, really fast. Like you see Hulk Hogan, all them, those dudes down there died when they stopped using that shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing about LeBron James, because LeBron James like to over LeBron James, his thing is he overdoes everything.
Hmm.
Everything he goes too far. He overdoes everything. He oversells everything.
Hmm.
That's why he's so crazy because he just does so much. LeBron James probably not gonna stop doing PEDs until he gets his fifth or sixth ring or jumping around and shit. And at that point, it's gonna become obvious.
Hmm.
And if he sticks around longer than the NBA wants him to stick around, they'll expose him.
Well, he starts sticking around, and then we see his age is 41, 42. We already gonna know. What the fuck?
Yeah, and not only that, 48, 40, 42, and he's not an Al Horford 42. He's not a
Hmm.
because you could ball at 42, but it's supposed to be on the ground.
He's not a Kevin Willis 41, 42.
Nah, he's jumping around and catching oops and shit.
Hmm.
He might stick around long enough to where the NBA exposes him to get rid of him because the NBA does things in generations.
Yep. NBA
The
loves
reason,
cycles.
the
And right
reason,
now the NBA is in that place where they don't see him as the preeminent. So if he's smart, which
yeah,
he's such an attention whore, and I don't think because his attention whore ways are always going to screw him over. There's another person in entertainment that's like that. I think his name is Drake. Goes by the name of Drake.
yeah,
Because he's such a attention whore person, he's not going to know when his time is up. See, guys know when their time is up. See, like Jay-Z knew when his time was up
or they know when
in
to
terms
dial
of being
back.
a full-time
Yeah,
rapper. That's why you see he dial back. He does it in seasons. Because
right,
if he kept being full-time now at his age, it would have looked like he's forcing
yeah,
himself, or he's trying to be in a genre that he's not supposed to be in. But the problem with LeBron and the problem with Drake, these guys don't know when to quit. These guys keep thinking they got to force the agenda. And then that's when they make it obvious because everybody cycles into the next phase. You could see the NBA cycling to the next phase because there was a time when LeBron was collecting MVPs, right? They're giving that shit to Joker now.
right,
The NBA is letting you know we've cycled off of him
right.
by the way
And
that they're moving.
not like LeBron James earned every MVP. Yeah, there was always
Mhm.
LeBron James MVPs. They were always debatable, but he was the star, so he was getting them. But and that's the thing. If you stick around too long, past the NBA wants him to stick around, you're gonna start seeing things. If they don't just automatically, they might not never expose him because then it's gonna make the whole brand look bad and make it seem like his whole career was a farce. but you might see them start letting like towards the end when Kobe Bryant was still hooping. They 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 retired. The NBA was tired of Kobe Bryant. The fans still loved him.
Uh-huh.
The NBA was tired of him because as long as Kobe Bryant was around, they couldn't they couldn't switch to LeBron because Kobe Bryant, his caliber of basketball was just too pure. And watching him play to watching LeBron play, it was always lackluster watching LeBron play. You notice people
Uh-huh.
never talk about LeBron performances; they only talk about numbers.
Yep.
You never say, "Man, LeBron." Man, I remember LeBron had this. They always talk about numbers, man. When they talk about LeBron,
Uh-huh.
people talk about Kobe's performances. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for that because the way he plays basketball is hard to forget. But when LeBron sticks around, you might see them start letting them do things to LeBron they want to do earlier, like walking up underneath him when they shoot. They do that to Kobe a lot. That's dangerous, man. That's how Kobe got hurt, got those leg injuries. People were just walking up underneath him as he shot the ball. Um, um, when you go to shoot, they're supposed to let at least finish your follow through. If the hand hits the hand, hits the hand. But when they stop your follow through, while you shooting, that injures your hands. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They'll do a little thing. They'll start letting people foul them real hard. Let
Uh-huh.
them get away. And and like kind of like the NBA, they don't like black quarterbacks, so they let defensive players do whatever they want to black quarterbacks.
Facts.
They don't want them in the league anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
once you get to a certain level, you'll start seeing that. And if you start seeing LeBron James get even stronger to deal with it, it get even bigger, and niggas see like he's getting faster and stronger. This
Don't
ain't
make sense.
this ain't anime. The thing is, anime was so entertaining, and it was the anime I used to watch anyway. That but you people don't realize there's a whole generation who grew up and not just watching anime, who live their life like those guys. Like a
Uh-huh.
lot of niggas work out all the time because they watch anime, and a lot of niggas believe in that shit. Like you could be old as hell and be jumping high as hell and shit like that and doing all this crazy shit. Because a lot of people live in a fantasy world.
Facts.
They got who they are in real life, and they got an avatar of themselves, and they kind of live more so in that avatar than they do. They kind of relate more to the avatar of themselves than they do to the real person of themselves. And the
Facts.
avatar of themselves is everything is possible. Anything and everything is possible. And you just hate on that nigga LeBron, man. You wish you could jump that high, man. Because they don't live in reality.
Uh-huh.
Who did they have to learn reality from? Their mamas wasn't, their daddies wasn't there. Your father teaches you reality.
Uh-huh.
Your mother don't teach you reality. Cause her reality changes day to day, and she wants you to go through those changes with her. Your dad teaches you reality by teaching you how shit gonna be the same no matter what every day. You gotta adapt. People don't adapt to
Uh-huh.
you. That's fantasy. When everybody adapts to you and you just fuck all the business and you get all the numbers and everything goes right. You hit all the jump shots and the layups. That's fantasy.
Uh-huh.
That world, living in that world is dangerous. In the real world, you don't get all the numbers. You don't hit everybody. You get turned down, right? You get rejected. You don't get the eval you think you're supposed to get it, and you learn how to adapt around all these things. That's reality. That's what your daddy teach you, right? That's what your uncles, right?
Uh-huh.
If you don't have a father, that's what the men in your life teach you. But if you don't have that, like most black men, you tend to live in a fantasy world. And if you live in a fantasy world, if you have access to all this shit, you could extend that fantasy world.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Great that you said that. And people need to stop playing like they're God. That's a very dangerous thing when you play like you're God, because there's a scripture that says, "Thou shalt not have no other gods before me." If you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen in the future and you're not God, stop playing like that. Because let me tell you something, man. God's gonna put you in positions in your life to where now you're gonna have to own up to trying to see if you can live up to these God complex moments. And what you're gonna find out is you're gonna fail miserably. So if you're in the comment section acting like you're God, be very fucking careful. Tread very lightly with that shit. That's my warning to you. That's my only warning to you. because you're gonna learn very quickly when the walls start coming crashing down on you. You're gonna really learn very quickly how mortal you are, how fragile you are, and how much you are insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
So, because there's a scripture that says, "Men are like grass; they wither away." So understand your level, that you're like grass and you fucking wither away, and you're not on that level. So don't predict shit that you have absolutely no idea because you read some bullshit that somebody else said to try to make yourself seem like you know what the fuck you're talking about when in actuality you don't know shit. You're just going off of hearsay. Now, I had to say that because at the end of the day, me and Ross, we believe in debunking anybody that doesn't give God his full glory. We don't play those games over here. So now let's get back. Let's segue into this, man. Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan, man. I really don't understand. You know, I'm one of those guys that's a big MJ fan, but there's a level of egregious and damn near disrespectful behavior when you have your son in Marcus Jordan that is 32 years old. Yeah, he has access to disposable income. Let's be honest. These kids are like, they call them fucking what? Socialites. So they have
Yeah.
access to disposable income. Why are you dealing with a 49-year-old woman? Is that your value? Your value says that you're that pitiful that you have to go and deal with Scottie Pippen's, in Haitian Creole, my father used to say, "Res on moon." What that means is it's kind of like a disrespectful term, but it's a reality. Why are you going to deal with somebody's used garbage?
Yeah.
That's what he means when he says that. Why are you dealing with somebody's used garbage?
Right.
Scottie Pippen's woman is his used garbage. You're a 32-year-old man. Why don't you go and deal with women that are in your age bracket or younger?
He should
What
be
it tells
dealing
me
with.
is that
He should be
Marcus
dealing.
Jordan is pathetic. That's what it tells me. He's pathetic.
He should be dealing with his age, 23 up to his age, man.
Yeah.
He has to act, but you understand one thing. You never know. You never know his fight. You never know his family dynamics, man, and how he was being treated during that time. Because Michael Jordan was doing his thing, and a lot of times that's just taken out on the sons when your dad's doing his thing, and you never know that he might have a mommy issue to where he don't necessarily want a woman. He want a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, think
Hmm.
about it, man. Dealing with a woman that old sexually is one thing. Dealing with a woman that old every day and being around her, bro, like at some point it's a psychological issue. Like, why you want somebody that much older than you? Because
Hmm.
you know what comes with a woman that much older than you. A mothering like spirit comes where she's dictating you what to say, what to do, what to wear. You know what I'm saying? Nagging you and shit. You know what I mean? Like you're not a fully developed mental man to where you need that nagging. Like, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, da da da. Don't forget to clean up. Like, you need that as a grown man.
And all she's doing is preying. All she's doing is preying on his, because women are highly intelligent when it comes to these things. They're highly intelligent in what's called womenese. They know when a man has a frailty and a weakness, and she's just exposing it. Like,
Yeah,
she's not with Marcus Jordan because she wants to be with Marcus Jordan. Let's be honest. She's with him because he's the backup plan. He's a good safety net that she could land on
right.
because she no longer has Scottie Pippen. So, well, I have the wealth of Michael Jordan through his son. How can this idiot not see through right through this bullshit?
We're supposed to be trying to make a legacy with a woman dedicated to him, with a woman that's unknown,
Yeah.
dedicated to him. That's just like, bro. And the thing about it, I don't see this. I don't see this lasting much longer because Michael Jordan has finally. Thing is, with him, he's when by the time he decides to speak, sometimes it's way too late. But he's finally decided to step up and speak and say, I don't approve of this.
Thank you.
Now that
Yeah,
he's saying,
I didn't hear about that because I was starting to get I was starting to feel some type of way that damn Jordan, because Jordan does have the one bad habit Jordan has is Jordan can be, he has one feminine trait that I don't like. He can be petty as fuck. And I was
You don't
thinking,
think he's petty outside of the basketball court like that though.
no, I don't
I,
think he is. But
I
when it
think
comes
I
to
think he
Scottie Pippen, when it comes to
I
Scottie
think
Pippen, he has had his petty moments with Scottie Pippen. And I
Scottie
felt
Pippen.
like I was wondering if this was going to be a petty one of these petty situations because Scottie Pippen did what he did in the last dance or whatever. Okay, well, I'm gonna hold this over you, blah blah blah. But that's not the case. So thank you for telling me that Michael Jordan
Yeah,
is speaking out against that.
yeah. People like that will make you be petty towards them, but there's levels of pettiness. This is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. I never thought Jordan was like, "Hey, go fuck his." I never thought Jordan would do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Nah.
this is all his son. It's we gotta understand one thing. When your father has such big shoes, sometimes it's best that you don't walk in his shoes and you create another path. But what if you don't have the ingenuity to create another path?
Mm-hmm.
Then you would probably just be doing shit just for attention, man. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, this is just an attention getting, just a look at me moment and shit. Um, I don't think Jordan had nothing to do with this, but Jordan should have spoken about this way earlier. And with this generation, you're not speaking on something about something unless you do it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it publicly, if you're just if the public don't know, then to them it don't matter. That's why everything they do it on camera. They murder people on camera. They make sure they're getting caught selling drugs on camera. They catch themselves committing crimes on camera because in their reality, their word is not good enough. They have to
Mm-hmm.
have proof. Like look, man, we hit the judge. Look, we hit the stand. That's me right there. I'm the one I'm the one everybody's an old dog nowadays. I'm the one that hit them with the gun. Look, they had to get evidence that could put them in jail to prove their lifestyle. This younger
Mm-hmm.
generation, they're all retarded. They're idiots, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's part of this generation. He's older, but yeah, he's part of it. He's one of the progenitors of this generation who needed to be seen doing all this shit. Like my generation was more so about doing shit you ain't had no business doing, and nobody no being none the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom don't think you're a whole different person than who you are when you're in the streets. That was my generation.
Mm-hmm.
Then there became a generation after me who niggas did shit at home on purpose, and so the family could know they get into shit. They wanted people. They didn't like people saying, "Oh, this is a good kid." They wanted people to know that they was into the gangs and shit like that. Like they wanted that to be readily apparent that they was into the street shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They were the progenitors of this generation who actually murdered people on fucking camera. You know what I'm saying? And that's all this nigga doing is trying to seek attention, man. That's all he's doing. Whether he think he didn't get the attention from his dad or whether he didn't think he didn't get the attention from his mom, he's trying now. He's a grown man. He's an attention seeking nigga. Because Larson Pippen don't even look fire like that.
Don't even. And she's 49. What does she bring to the value? I
What she
mean,
bring
he's
to
not going to
the
get no kids from her. I mean, he doesn't get nothing from this
She
situation.
brings
So,
Scottie Pippen money to the value. And when a woman's money is pretty much their
He
money,
gets he gets sloppy seconds. That's what he gets.
that's it.
what's your take on this, Rich? I want your
Yeah.
take on this, and I also want your take on Bronny James because we talked about that earlier. What's your take on both of those, man?
I think he froze up. Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
that's what it seemed like.
What's your take, bro?
Oh, repeat that. Oh, my take on the whole Scottie Pippen, his wife, and Jordan's son situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like it's just an embarrassing situation, man, altogether because she's been doing this for a while now, man. She's just been running through NBA players. She messed around with Future, the rapper,
Mm,
and now she's with Jordan's son, man. Like it's just like Tom Ross said, finally Jordan said something of it that he doesn't approve of this, and she had the nerve to say that hearing what Jordan said, made her she didn't like hearing that for some
She's
reason. I
embarrassed.
don't, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
that's what women
embarrassed or
do,
something
man.
like that.
They
Yeah,
they play the
she's
victim and then they gaslight.
exactly.
Yeah.
She's way out of pocket because like what is she gonna do with Jordan's son? I don't know. Is it to make Scotty jealous or something like that, or she's ran that dude
He's a beta.
through the mud and on, man. Like, yeah, to where Scotty, man, he's been very disrespectful to Jordan because of that. You could tell this his past relationship with her is affecting how Scotty, is coming out and saying these weird, crazy statements, man. You know,
Right.
uh, yeah, man, it's just a very embarrassing situation. Like this woman, man, she's a pass around the industry.
Mm-hmm.
His Jordan's son is not even a part of that industry. He only got to the collegiate level. He wasn't even a pro. So it's kind of like she went backwards. She was messing with NBA players and she was messing with rappers. Now she's messing with a dude that didn't even get to that level. I mean, he
Right,
is
right, right.
Jordan's son, but it's just Scotty, man. I don't know what's going on with Scotty. He shouldn't look at it. I mean, that's the mother of your son. That's why it's so bad. Like he has 4 kids with this woman, man, and she's decided to take this path. And like, I can't imagine how the kids feel. The son from
Right.
this from Scott from the Lakers, he was teammates with one of the dudes she was with, Malik Beasley. I
Damn.
don't even want to. I don't even want to know what that interaction was like, cause like, damn, this dude used to smash my mom, and this dude is like probably half her age. You feel me? Like it's just she's way out of pocket. She's way out of pocket, and they're talking about getting married and doing stuff like, man. I, I'm just like, Jordan got his issues with Pippen. Pippen got his issues with Jordan, but something like this should make them come together, man. You feel me?
Yeah.
This is
That was my stance on
they
it.
just
Y'all won
yeah.
championships together. Y'all had a brotherhood. Shit, Ross told me a secret that he told me and you a secret. We didn't even know that, Jordan was trying to, hold out on autographs and Scottie Pippen checked them. You got to have a certain
Not,
level of
not,
brotherhood to be able to check somebody like
yeah,
that.
but it wasn't even that because we didn't know what we wanted from Jordan. We were
Hmm.
children.
Yeah.
Like I think I was 9, and my older homie probably was 10, and we were in that range. You know what I'm saying? We get
Hmm.
together, we play sports, and we saw a limousine by the fucking park. Like who's in the limousine and shit? And cause it got to be somebody famous who in the limousine. And when the window came down, it was Scotty that was right there. It was Jordan on the other side. Then Jordan was like, keep those begging niggas away from me. And he said some other shit. Like, bro, we eat every day. Like, we wasn't gonna beg you for money. We're, we're children. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I looked at it some type
I
of way,
can see that motherfucker saying some shit
the
like
reason why I
that.
look at it some type of way is because that's when I realized that's when I realized that's when I realized that's when I realized right there that he was a sellout. Because
Yep.
you see him on TV all the time, and he's happy to be around white kids.
Yeah.
Like he's happy, he's hugging them, he's carrying them, tickling them and shit. But you know what I mean? They're the ones that's gonna beg you or give you a lawsuit. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it was white people that have Michael Jackson in all these lawsuits. Not the black
Yep.
kids that went over his crib. It was white people who did that shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're the ones that's gonna beg you and take you through the litigation. So that and then Scottie Pippen's like, hey man, you can't talk to these fucking kids like that, dude. Like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, and then he ain't saying nothing and say he was just looking stupid because I'm short enough to be able to look in there and see through the. I'm not tall, so I don't have to do this. I'm short enough to look and see him looking stupid, like
Yep.
you know what I mean? Because he ain't expect to get checked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and one thing and I made a vow to myself, no matter how much success I get, I would never treat children that way
Yeah.
because now you're becoming a evil person when you start handling the children that way.
Hmm.
You should have been handling an alcoholic that way, right? Somebody who was
Yep.
like, "Hey, can I get $30 or whatever?" But like children who's happy to see you and shit, and like that's Michael Jordan, blah blah blah. Because I give you a time step on when this happened. You remember that? Do you remember that? I think it was a Pepsi, it was a Coca-Cola commercial where Scottie Pippen shoot that coin and it go into the machine and he get the
Mm-hmm.
and they get to drink him and Jordan and shit. That
Mm-hmm.
was shot in the gym in the park that we used to go to every day.
Mm.
That commercial. That's what they was there for. They were shooting a commercial in the park,
Mm.
inside the gym and shit, in the gymnasium. You don't
Gotcha.
know commercial I'm talking about when you
Yeah, I
shoot.
know what you're talking about.
That's the time frame. So I was like 9. I was like 9 or 10 years old. You're a year. That's the time. So we're children at this time.
Damn.
At 15, I was like, dude, Twig, man, fuck Jordan. I wouldn't care. I didn't care about a lot of shit at 15. But
Mm-hmm.
at 9, 10 years old, you're like, what the bag? I never begged for nothing in my life. What is he talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck is he talking about, right? So that lets me. But thing is, that was then. It ain't no telling what type of person Michael Jordan is now. But at the bare minimum,
But that also explains why you always had a deep rooted respect for Scottie Pippen, because the way that Scottie Pippen handled that situation. Because it takes a
well,
grown man
well,
with
well me,
maturity to do some shit like that.
me personally, I never escalate something too far. I don't stress things too far. I
Mm-hmm.
have respect for Scottie Pippen in that moment.
Yeah, in that moment.
I don't know Scottie Pippen. I had a deep lack of respect for Michael Jordan in that moment.
That moment.
After that moment was over, I'm a kid. I was done with that shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It didn't even register me how bad I was disrespected as a grown man. It didn't even register to me that I was like, damn, this nigga's a fucking weirdo. You know
And
what I'm
there's
saying?
truth to what you're saying, because I seen it. I seen even recent videos where dudes try to take autographs with him, and Jordan, man, hey, get that fucking camera away from me, man. What the fuck you doing? Like,
Right.
he's just like that, man.
It's just weird, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
The rapper Chamillionaire had his moment with him.
right. And that's the thing.
You remember the rapper Chamillionaire?
If anybody,
Mhm.
that's how I knew he was telling the truth. I knew he was telling. I didn't even see the shit, but there's film of him doing it. I knew he was telling the truth. 'Cause I had already seen him do this. If he did it to kids,
Mhm.
he's doing it. The reason I don't like it is because he don't do white people like that.
Yep.
That's why I was
Yeah.
like, this guy's a talent. That's what I don't like about it. If he did everybody like that, I would actually have respect for it.
Yep.
I'll be like, man, this dude don't really, because Prince was like that. Prince don't want you around him unless he calls you.
Yep.
Black, green, red, yellow, no matter what. He don't want nobody just coming up to him unless he calls you over there. He's
Yep.
like that with everybody.
Yep.
You gotta respect it. But Michael Jordan, he's not like that with white people. This nigga he's in La La Land around white people. White children, you don't even see Jordan smile unless he's around white children.
Yep. That's true.
Chicken them and shit. His big hands, his hands at their waist, but his tips under their armpits and shit. Because this nigga hands so big. Tickling the fuck out them and shit. But with the black kids, he's like, hey man, those fucking kids away from you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? Like, why you hate black people? You know what I'm saying? But that could be very well. He probably feels some type of way because there was a black motherfucker who killed his daddy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you never know how people act because of trauma, man. But I'll tell you this: the fact that he was comfortable doing it means they had a bond to where they can hold each other accountable. This and the third. And right now, I'm disappointed in Michael Jordan. I'm disappointed in Scottie Pippen. I'm disappointed in Isaiah Thomas. I'm disappointed in all the. I'm disappointed. They're all grown men. They're all acting like fucking children, man.
Children. Yep.
Yeah,
Like,
man. It's
that's
time to
how they
overcome
want
these
us to
griefs.
act. That's how they want us to act. To be beefing
Yeah.
about some shit that happened in the '80s, and
Yeah,
no, and
man.
everybody,
Grow the fuck up.
you know what I mean? Like, bro? At the end of the day, what happened happened. It should be no. I
Even
hate this.
Jay Z and Nas, bro. Even Jay Z and Nas squash their beef. He
Yep.
knows
Yeah.
to tell you about that. He a big Jay Z
Yep.
fan. I'm a big Nas fan.
Right.
Even those two squash their beef.
It's fast they should. It gets to the point where now you're just being childish. It's one thing, and Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan, they both full of shit. This is how they both full of shit.
Yeah, they both full of shit.
They both full of shit. Michael Jordan's talking about he don't like Isaiah Thomas because he an asshole. You the biggest asshole in the world.
Yep.
So you don't like another nigga, he like you. Then you know what I'm saying? Then Isaiah Thomas don't want to. He don't want to admit the fact that it got to the point where they couldn't beat the Bulls.
Yep.
You were dominant over the Bulls. Anybody saying you wasn't dominant, they're living in delusion. Isaiah Thomas was dominant over Michael Jordan for several years. Then it got to the point where he was no longer dominant no more. You gotta let it go, man.
Yep.
These niggas acting like children. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. They supposed to be at a point where they're man, you used to kick my ass. Like, yeah, but I came up, man.
And
blah,
laugh
blah,
that
blah,
shit off.
And they
laugh it off.
laughing right now. They supposed to be like, man, you gave me the hardest struggle. It's kind of like they mad that they ran into each other. Like if it wasn't for this nigga, I would have been this. Or you helped me back from shit. They taking that shit personal. That's a mind construct. When you take a sports that personal, that's a control over your mind these white folks got over you. That shit shouldn't mean that much. You 50 and you still heartbroken about some shit that happened in the 80s and the 90s?
Exactly, man. I honestly thought Kobe Bryant's death would have had a lot of these players, think about the grudges they have with players from their past and try to squash those beats. KG, he mentioned that he didn't want to when Kobe Bryant passed and he had that beef going on with Ray Allen, him and Paul Pierce.
Keep talking.
He was like, yeah, he was talking about he didn't want because him, all those guys are getting up there in age. If something was to happen, he doesn't want to regret that moment, man, of not squashing whatever issue that he had with Ray Allen and telling them dudes, okay, we did our thing. I love you, brother, man. You know what I'm saying? We did our thing out there. I don't want to, hold on to this beef just because you went to another team. It's time to move on past that. Jordan is in his 60s, man.
Right.
These guys are pretty much in their 60s now. It's time to move on.
I said 50. They down in their 60s.
They're in their 60s. So it's a shame that they still on that. I understand when they was doing that when they was playing. They still playing. But when you done with the game, man, it's more to life than just basketball and the beefs that you had on the court.
Yeah, it is. It is. At the end of the point, but that's the type of men that they want to display is people who took this boys game so serious that they're in their 60s and they still acting like boys. But we need better, you know what I'm saying? We need better role models when it comes to that. These guys should not be saying flamboyant words so provocative as "I hate." I'm hearing hate come from these guys' mouths, man. I hate Isaiah Thomas. He raped somebody in your family or something? You hate this nigga? He killed somebody? This shit ain't that serious.
Strong word.
Those are very flamboyant words. This niggas who tried to do me bodily harm when I was a teenager, I don't hate right now. This nigga that I ran into that we weren't on the best of terms when I was in Chicago before I went to the military. And I don't hate them. We actually died. Like, hey man, see you in a minute. And this nigga was happy to see me. I was surprised he was happy to see me, but that shit was over with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we were trying to do each other bodily harm. So how the fuck y'all niggas ain't just gonna play sports? Some of this shit is putting on for the fans too. Because this is what is expected of you. I gotta always hate him because he a bull. I gotta always hate him because he a piston. Bro, you're a man at the end of the day. An old man that's getting up there, matter of fact.
Exactly.
So that shit is petty. You know what I mean? That shit is petty, man. And both of them, like the Detroit Pistons, they had their documentary, and the Last Dance they had their documentary, and the truth is somewhere in the middle of it. The truth is somewhere in the middle, man. They both sides is capping, 100%. Both sides is capping because they don't want to be wrong. Michael Jordan's talking about he had nothing to do with Isaiah Thomas not being on the Olympic team. He a fucking liar, man.
Of course he did.
He's a liar, man.
Of course he did.
He's a liar. Be honest, because you're talking about because of the camaraderie. Everybody on that team didn't even like each other. They were playing like they like each other. At that point, Larry Bird didn't like Michael Jordan. At that point, Magic Johnson was sending subliminal shots to Michael Jordan when they're taking pictures.
Yeah,
he like, yeah, because you just get all the calls. They're playing like they liked each other. They didn't want that nigga on the team because that nigga was going to take a lot of the spotlight because Isaiah Thomas was that nigga. They could get off with John Stockton was coming down, passing the ball into the post and getting out the way. But Isaiah Thomas got pizzazz. He could be taking a lot of the spotlight. A lot of them niggas didn't want Isaiah Thomas on that team. You know what I'm saying? Because this nigga was he wasn't just your ordinary point guard. He could take over himself. So they nobody ain't want that nigga on the team. And it could have been bigger than them, and they're not willing to say, you know what? While we didn't like Isaiah Thomas ourselves, Isaiah Thomas was the Players Association coach, and we kind of was scratching the powers that be back, and they're scratching our back. They're not man enough to say who really made that call. Because let's be honest, a black man didn't really make that call, but they influenced it. They're not man enough to say like, hey man, this was bigger than us. We wanted it to happen. It was bigger than us. This is my my thing was why these guys didn't like Isaiah Thomas because he didn't in the NBA certain points you're supposed to back down to people. Like if somebody's the man, everybody else supposed to back down and be like, oh, that's the black cat. And Isaiah Thomas never seen Michael Jordan. He never was the nigga that was like, that's Black Jesus. He didn't believe it. Black niggas don't do that. Niggas from Chicago don't do that. Mm-hmm. There's no hierarchy. You're a man like me. At the end of the day, you my boss. You told me to do something. It's my job description to listen to you. But I'm not giving you a coffee talking about, hey, sir, how you doing today? Blah, blah, blah. Say, man, I just hope you have a good day. Niggas from Chicago not doing that. What do you need me to do? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? So
that's exactly true. Because Isaiah Thomas, if he played on that team, and I think Jordan, because you saw that in the All-Star games in the 80s, Isaiah was the only point guard that he only gave Jordan the ball if Jordan was open or Jordan was in position. It wasn't going to be like, oh, I'm just going to give you the ball and let you dominate in the fourth quarter. He doesn't play the game that way. And Jordan didn't want him on the team because Isaiah was going to play like a true floor general. Isaiah Thomas was the floor general beyond floor general. He's going to make the right fucking play. It's not the Michael Jordan play. And that's why Jordan didn't want him on the team. And Jordan didn't want Isaiah on the team. That's why Jordan didn't want him on the team. And Isaiah didn't want Jordan on the team because Isaiah always felt like he had an edge over Jordan and a grudge over Jordan to the point, like you said, where he just could never get over. Oh, well, we own the Bulls, but the Bulls end up owning y'all too. Accept that. That's part of the lineage. The lineage is y'all dominated them as long as y'all did, and then now they dominated you guys. Like it is what it is. So it has to be accepted on both sides of the out. They both are so similar, and that's why they both wouldn't have worked out. So in hindsight, it's 2020. Isaiah should have been on the team. He was more qualified than Scottie Pippen. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Isaiah would have fucked around. Isaiah would have fucked around because of him and Jordan. They would have fucked around and gotten to it so much that teams in the backcourt, teams would have been catching up to them. Guys like Dragic Petric, guys like Dragic scoring points the way he was scoring. Guys like what was that dude's name? Not Tony Kukoc. The other team that they played against.
Tony Kukoc too.
Tony Kukoc.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys. Their names are hard to pronounce and shit.
It was a uniform thing. It was a uniform decision because honestly, I don't even think it was just Jordan. I think low key, you could see that Magic was a fake friend to Isaiah, and you could see that Larry Bird was a fake friend to Isaiah because there was a uniform.
Magic Isaiah
didn't want Isaiah on that team.
Larry Bird was never Isaiah's friend.
Magic was friends with him before he made that comment about Magic after Magic caught the virus.
Right. I don't believe that because I actually seen Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas play together. They were unstoppable.
Yeah, they are unstoppable.
They're unstoppable, and they put everything to win. They'll put everything aside. I think it was something that was a nucleus base. So Magic, Bird, Jordan, and the powers that be. And the reason why I say that is Isaiah Thomas is the reason why players in the NBA don't get fucked over like everybody else. Baseball don't have a salary cap, so that's why they get blessed the way they get blessed. But Isaiah Thomas is the reason why players get paid the way they get paid today. Because when he was on the Player Association, he was making sure this was Chicago niggas do, man. Like we're gonna make sure wherever we get into, it's gonna run better. It's gonna run better because our influence on how we see shit. Isaiah Thomas, he was the one that was making sure these teams couldn't fuck over these players. And now they benefit Isaiah Thomas as the president, but when it came down to it, they fucked him over because he was making all these enemies with the power that be on their behalf. And then they got the checks and they got this, they got these endorsements. Because these players, they couldn't just get endorsement deals when they all literally, they had to get the endorsement deals that the NBA approved of. And at first, it was just Converse. Isaiah Thomas changed a lot of shit in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where he had power to call David Stern, like, hey man, this dude, Steven Jackson, yeah, he's a fucker, man. Give him one more chance. Everybody can't call David Stern, ask David Stern for nothing. But Isaiah Thomas, they were see what people don't realize is white man respect you on business, he gonna fuck you on everything else because he can remember this nigga, this the black nigga who beat me. So I will give him that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't getting on this Olympic team. I will stab him in his heart. And they took the blame for it, but I think it was a joint venture. Those guys at the top and the guys who put the Olympic team together. Because let's be honest, Michael Jordan don't control shit when it comes to the Olympic team. He could cry all he wants to. If them white people would have said you playing, his ass would have been playing.
Facts.
He said what he didn't like, and they said, we could use this. Because we didn't want this nigga on the team. No way. Like Mr. Burns, you know what I'm saying? Yep. We didn't want this shit to happen no way. So we will blame it on them. But at the end of the day, we getting him back because he cost us millions of dollars. Because look at the NBA now. The dude, the dancer dude just got 80 million.
Yep.
The light-skinned dude that all he do is dance and talk shit to LeBron. That's trash. he just got $80 million.
Yep.
These niggas want to get paid like that, man. Like what's the name? He changed a lot of things in basketball, but because he changed so much.
Talking about Dylan
Brooks, because he changed so much, they're never gonna allow Isaiah Thomas to get the credit he deserves until he died. That's why he's left out of all the little GOAT conversation. Isaiah Thomas is the only nigga that beat all those guys in his prime. But he's left out of all the conversations. People act like he never played basketball because he beat them. And I know this personally in the Navy. I beat these guys, man. And so certain things they make sure you don't get. Because white men never forget when you beat them at their game, bro. They make you pay for that shit. For real. You know what I'm saying?
That's a travesty.
Anything they know that you really want, they're gonna ensure you never get it. They'll ensure that. And this nigga, he really wanted to be on that Olympic team, and they made sure they took his heart. They crushed that motherfucker. But it's bigger than Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. They're just they're the president. And you know there's a president, and you know there's a council of foreign relations, and there's people behind the scenes who actually tell the president what to do. That's
they're like pawns. They're like pawns.
They're pawns. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you broke that down. But Richie Rich, what was your take on Bronny James? Do you think it's foul play, or do you think it was more like, this was credible, the cardiac arrest? How do you feel about it?
Man, I think this was credible, man, because it wouldn't just come out and say, come out with this type of stuff, man.
Hold on for a second.
This kid is being, this kid is being prepped up to do his thing at USC, so he can get to the league. You know what I'm saying, and play with his dad, because LeBron, that's his next goal, to be able to play with his firstborn son, man. But it's unfortunate that this happened to his child, man, and I hope that that Bronny, man, he could overcome this. But now he has to think about, is basketball more important than his overall health and life? You know what I'm saying? There's speculation that it's that shot, man, that COVID shot and the booster, because a lot of weird things have been happening ever since people have gotten the shot. A lot of people have been having heart defects, heart situations with their hearts, whether they've been athletes or not, after taking these shots. So that could be a factor. Also, we don't know LeBron James' father, man. We don't know what kind of health history he's had. You know, so because LeBron's not, he's not, he doesn't have a relationship with his dad. So we don't know if it could be a genetic defect that
Right.
passed LeBron and then got to Bronny. So that could be another factor. That could be something else in play. But it's serious because he had a cardiac arrest, man. Pretty much his heart stopped, and he had
Mm-hmm.
to be revived, man. So it's not like the Damar Hamlin situation because Damar Hamlin, he was hit in that area,
Right.
and the heart stopped. Bronny was just working out by himself, and he was working around amongst his teammates and the staff on the USC basketball team, but it just happened right then and there. Nobody, he wasn't in contact with anybody. It just happened right there while he was doing his training. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
it's a very worrisome situation, man. Condition. So Bron obviously has access to some of the best doctors in the world, but his son is going to have to be cleared if that's what he wants. If he gets cleared, is he really going to want to pursue playing basketball and risking his life? Uh, he has a teammate that went through that situation. I did a little research on what was going on, and they actually said somebody who's currently on that USSC team went through the same ordeal that Bronny's going through, and he had to wait a year and a half to get cleared by medical doctors
Mm-hmm.
because it's not, you can't rush back into the sport again. You have to, there's a period that you have to have a layover, and you have to be able to pass certain tests so that
Right.
they can clear you so you can resume your whatever athletic sport you're in. So this is going to be a challenging time for Bronny. He's going to have to go through that process where he's seeing a doctor week in, week out, month in, month out, and they're gonna have to wait and see if he can return to those athletic duties, basketball.
Yeah.
And it's not 100% guaranteed, So a wrench was just thrown into their plan right there. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
huge wrench.
But Richie
And
Rich, did
what's
you
up?
know? Did you know they already saying they already got a statement talking about Bronny's ready to resume basketball activities, and
And that's why it seems
Where where
suspect.
you where you saw that?
I saw that shit on ESPN. So
Yeah,
so
it's on
so
Google, man. You look up. It says Bronny James is returning back to play.
so and my thing is this. This why I think it's counterintuitive to live your life through public relations. I kind of think they want to hurry up and get that, whether it's true or not. They want to hurry up and get that statement out, so they don't derail the NBA plan. Because the NBA can hold some shit against you. They're like, oh man, you fell out and shit back in college before you even started. You fell out in college. We don't know if we want to invest this money in you because
Mhm.
your heart could go out. So it seems like they just want to hurry up and get that. It's like it's a stain. They want to hurry up and wipe the stain off. And when really this shit bigger than basketball right now. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I hope it's just something they saying, and they're not really trying to push this young man back on that court this fast.
that's what I'm saying. If that's the case, because I didn't see that report. You know what I'm saying? So if there's legs behind this, man, then there is some foul play. Like this kid
Yeah,
had a if he really did, we weren't there, but if he really did have the cardiac arrest, there should be no way this kid is rushing right back to go play basketball because he's putting his life at risk.
right, right,
And and
Mhm.
and if that's I'm not even gonna go into that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to like speak for LeBron or something like that. This is just a very delicate situation that we don't have all the information. So I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because I'm
right.
not the
This is
kid's
why we
dad.
have. This is why we
You know what I'm
have the
saying?
heavy hitters of. This is why we have the heavy hitters of Richie Rich and at the end of the day of Tom Ross because the heavy hitters know how to buffer. You guys have to understand this panel right here. I don't give these brothers enough credit, but I'm about to give them they flowers, man. If you leave me to my own device, my own extreme device, I will not say allegedly because I'll just go off of what I feel. That's why you have these brothers here to come in and say we don't have all of the evidence, we don't have all of the facts, we don't have this, we don't have that. So we gotta be mindful of that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that comprehensiveness. Because left to my own devices, I'd be like, man, look here, LeBron was in some foul shit. I'm led to believe his son is into some foul shit. But I like the fact that Ross and Richie Rich are saying that because at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about a situation, uh, the bottom line is this is a delicate situation, and use the right word to preference that when you said delicate situation. Man, me and Ross gonna have to start saying we gonna have to start calling you the greatest six man ever, dog. You always come in late, and you come in and you add, man. Ross be starting off, he be preaching and teaching, and then you come in the second half and you just like take over, man. I like this. I think we need to keep this flowing the way it's going, man. Because
Yeah,
let me tell
because
you why I feel like this is because um and we
now,
segue now into James Harden because when we got guys like this on the panel that are comprehensive and definitive, it's like me, Ross, and Richie Rich are Jordan, Magic, and Isaiah, but we're the Jordan, Magic, and Isaiah that can make up.
right.
We're the Jordan, Kobe, Bird that can make up. We're not in our feelings to the point to where we can't say, well, we was wrong about this or we had a misstep. Like earlier, Ross made a point. I made a point on Jordan. He was like, nah, I don't think there's levels to pettiness. It's not MJ. And then you brought up that fact that I was hoping to know that, but because Ross is so on every topic and every story, he brought it up to me because that's what I wanted to see from Jordan. I wanted to see Jordan disassociate because there's a level of friendship that you have with someone. You should be disassociating from bullshit, man. Because this guy helped you to win 6 championships. This guy helped your legacy out. This guy helped you out from a brotherhood standpoint. And for
Yeah,
you to sit there and not kind of have his back,
right.
there's a level of assholeness that I don't even understand when it comes to that kind of stuff. That kind of puts you in another rarefied company of asshole that I don't even want to comprehend. Like that, you should have his back. So the fact that you said Jordan is distancing himself, okay, now that tells me he got Scottie Pippen's back because that's what
And
Scottie Pippen needs to see in order for Scottie Pippen to feel good because Scottie Pippen has had his back. You know, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, we scratch each other's back. But James Harden is not like these guys. See, we talk about guys that are really selfish, inherently selfish. Let's talk about a guy that's super selfish. James Harden is a guy who goes from team to team just to collect a check. He is not about legacy, man. He's made it very clear. I'm about collecting an NBA check. I'm about partying. I'm about fucking. And I don't give a fuck because this Philadelphia 76ers team is fire. They got a
mhm.
great squad. He can make some things happen. Why not stick it around? So I think there's an inherent problem with James Harden that I think we need to talk about. What is the problem that you guys feel with James Harden that has become this thing where modern players are kind of taking this branch of screw legacy? It's about money. And how do you guys feel that it's ruining the game of basketball?
um, I'm gonna address James Harden first, and then try to get to that broader. James Harden's trying to get back to a tax-free state, man. He's trying to get back to probably Texas or what's another tax-free state? Florida.
Florida,
He's trying to
Florida.
get. He's trying to do one of them because James Harden is all about the extra money that he can spend doing shit he ain't got no business doing. Um, he left trying to chase a ring. He went to Brooklyn. He thought he was gonna get a ring there, but think about it, his injury happened. Um, they started telling people what they can and cannot do with their bodies all of a sudden, and everybody is not easily controlled that way. Because Kyrie and KD on the floor, these niggas were like damn near unstoppable. But the thing about James Harden is this: James Harden as the man never gonna win. He's never gonna win the championship ever. He's not dedicated enough. He's not disciplined enough. He's always out of shape. He's the worst body built shooting guard we ever seen, man. We ever seen. The dude have a pop belly, man. And he thinks just because he can perform that's cool. Like, bro, like James, man, like he could be so much better if he was in shape. And he don't care. He lives. It's like you can tell he parties every fucking day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and his most prosperous levels, his most prosperous levels, his most efficient levels was when he was a six man coming off the bench. James Harden was never meant to be a starter, man. He don't have the moxie to be a starter because when he starts, all he cares about is the numbers.
I've been saying that
That's
shit for
it.
years.
It's just scoring. That's all he cares about. He don't play no defense. That's why I always tell people never compare him to Kobe. Kobe was doing all that scoring and was an NBA first team. This is Michael Jordan level is to be near the top or the top at scoring and to be a number one defender. That's top level. That's top level Michael Jordan is, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't never compare him to a fucking James Harden who it's the reason why Jordan said Kobe said James Harden, the way he played basketball, he might not never win never win in the finals. Because it's a single point of failure. I don't believe in that. Me personally, I don't believe in the pick and roll. I think the reason why the pick and roll was so efficient um with the with the Pistons is because they had the high pick and roll and they also did a lot of pin down screens and they had people who could shoot the ball. Down there, everybody on the Pistons could shoot. People didn't realize that. Either they had a mid range or a short pop, or they could shoot the three ball. Everybody could shoot on the Pistons. That's why it should work. I believe in a motion, something like the Princeton offense or something like the triangle that gets everybody moving, the ball moving around. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no single point in the contract. Anybody could be the point of initiation in the Princeton's offense or in the triangle. Anybody could be the point of initiation. That's all the point guard is the point of where the play starts. The play can start anywhere in a motion offense, but at the point guard, it's a single point of attack. Anything that has a single point of failure, I don't like. So even in a business, if there's one guy that knows everything and everybody else needs to depend on that guy, to me that's a business that's waiting to fail. What happens if this guy gets sick? What if he get injured? What if he just leave? Then what? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in single point of single. I don't believe in one guy controlling everything. I don't believe in one guy having that much dominance over the ball. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's going to take the last shot, he shouldn't have the ball to hold possession. I don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why a lot of teams, when you look at the guys who never won championships, look at the offenses they was in. All single point of failure offenses. No ball movement, no people movement, just pick and pop. Look at the Utah; they kept losing, right? Pick and roll. It was Karl Malone or bust. Then they'll try to see if they can find somebody in the corner for a three and shit. It was the same thing all the time. That shit don't win, man. Everybody must be at an attack mode to win. And James Harden, he holds the ball way too fucking long. And you play the ball, you play ball, you play ball. What happens when one guy dribble the ball all the time? It takes you out the game. You get to the point where you start drifting off mentally.
If that you're figured out, and
Yeah.
and the thing about it is, you want to have a situation where I'd rather have a situation where it's a three attack monster, where it's me, Ross, and Richie Rich, instead of me just being the guy. Because once it's just one guy, no matter how dominant you are, they're gonna figure you out, man. And all they got to do is just stack everybody against you because they know you're gonna take every shot.
Right.
And that's why that shit never worked. It never worked when the Bulls relied solely on Jordan before Pippen's evolution. It didn't work in those years when Kobe Bryant had to go video game mode and the Lakers stripped him of basically trying to give him quality players. Because let's be honest, before Paul Gasol got there, if the Lakers really wanted, they're the Los Angeles Lakers. They could have given him a Paul Gasol years before. They could have given him great players years before, but they basically wasted away this guy's years of dominating and winning championships. Honestly, I think that's a bigger than the Los Angeles Lakers. I think that's a behind the scheme
That
David Stern NBA type of thing,
yeah,
because I do believe when David Stern was the commissioner, David Stern had a way that he ran the NBA. He ran
yeah,
it in like seasons. He ran it in chapters. Like one team cannot just do this all the time. And I think he had a game plan on, okay, you can dominate, but you can only dominate for so long. We need this now team to dominate.
right.
If David Stern wasn't good at anything, one thing he was good at was being a manager, boy. He knew how to manage, even though he did it for evil intentions. He knew how to manage when he wanted situations to benefit him and when he wants situations to not benefit him. That's what he was always good at, knowing when to finagle managing that and knowing when to not do it. Adam Silver is lazy. If we're being honest with ourselves, Adam Silver is not what we would say a great commissioner. He's just basically going and riding off of what David Stern already set up. Some people, that's their mentality, that's how they operate. They just ride off of what people already put in position for them. Because if it's not broke, why try to fix it? That's the mentality. If it's not broke, why try to fix it? And that's what's going on with that. So that's why Kobe Bryant got screwed the way he did, just like when Kobe got screwed with the Chris Paul. That was to just make sure that LeBron
LeBron.
James's evolution was 1,000% intact and guaranteed, because they were trying to get away from Kobe's era and they were trying to go into LeBron. But Kobe was so great that Kobe still won and basically shoved it to David Stern and them, was like, I don't give a fuck that y'all trying to usher into LeBron's era. I'm still going to win in this motherfucking era. And he
Yeah,
won.
but he never won a championship again, though. That was the whole point. They never won a championship again. Because that happened after his last championships.
Yep.
They're going to get Chris Paul in, what, 2013? Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So he would have won some more championships, but that's the thing. That's the reason why my greatness is not all built on accolades.
No, but they were trying to screw. They were trying to screw Kobe since Paul Gasol. Remember when Paul Gasol went through, the NBA said we had to file. This is how much they try to screw Kobe. When Paul Gasol went through, the NBA, you never seen them do that with LeBron. They said, "Oh, we got to file an investigation to see if the Paul Gasol trade was credible." When everybody in that damn trade did everything that they were supposed to according to the rules to make it happen, so they almost was going to block that. When the Dwight Howard trade came into play, they then turned around and filed another investigation to say we have to make sure that there was no tampering. Why are you doing this with Kobe Bryant, but you're not doing this with LeBron James? So they tried to screw Kobe so many fucking times, man. That shit was crazy.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is, they from the time Kobe came in, if you watch how they marketed Kobe, they marketed Kobe for him to get the backlash that he got. Yep. People said, no, it didn't start until he got, no. If you pay attention, they were marketing him for a way to where they didn't want you to like Kobe. They didn't want you to like Kobe. Soon as he got on the court, they was like, just get this, he's handsome, he's cocky, he's arrogant. He didn't even speak yet.
Yep.
And what do people automatically do when people they deem arrogant? They automatically don't like him. They always use these words to describe Kobe because they wanted they didn't want a Kobe persona to be the face of the league.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want that. They were shooting for more of a black dude coming from a single parent household, because that's what most black people relate to. So you could always shoot for the NBA as your basically you can always shoot for something that's impossible as your guy in the life and not want to be nothing else. Kobe Bryant didn't need the NBA. Not just because of his daddy. He didn't need the NBA because his nigga had a 1,600 SAT score.
Right.
That's why he didn't need the NBA. He didn't need a scholarship to go to college. Kobe Bryant could have just walked on college and walked on a basketball team and made it. And those are too many options. That's what they wasn't not trying to push. They wanted a LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's not that smart, someone we could mold, we could get to do these borderline racist commercials in magazines where we got them looking like an animal, like a gorilla and shit. because
Mm-hmm.
you never seen Kobe Bryant disrespect himself. You never see him do a magazine cover to where he's holding a white woman in the same way King Kong. Like never. When you don't have that daddy in your life, they can get you to do all type of shit. You don't got no business doing. If that's what they wanted, because the NBA don't. David Stern's NBA, it doesn't grow. It doesn't grow until they get those type of guys. Michael Jordan was hard to deal with. He grew to love Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan made it work because he was that dynamic. But David Stern didn't even like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do. I'm not wearing those small ass shorts. I'm wearing these Jordans. I'm doing whatever I want, man. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
these guys pay me. You gonna find me fucking, I'm still gonna wear this shit, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
He grew to love Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan started to make sense monetarily. So he said, fuck it, I will allow this. But if you look at everybody after Michael Jordan, after Kobe, because Kobe really forced his way in. Look at everybody else. Either their father had limited access into their life, or they didn't have no daddy in the beginning. And look how fucking childish these NBA stars be. Look at Zion. Zion Williamson is a big kid, man. He a child.
Mm-hmm.
Strong body, weak mind. That's the mind of a slave. Build them strong.
Mm-hmm.
Build them have a strong body. They have the mind of a feeble child. This dude acts like a kid, man. He got the world in the palm of his hand. He eating himself to death. He just spent all his time fucking pretty much prostitutes. Because a porn star ain't nothing but a glorified prostitute. He spent all his
Right.
time on that to the point where this shit blowing back on his shit. Now, granted, she really out of pocket, low key. Because if he did something with you, that's supposed to be off the books. So he really got somebody that he really either he fucked the shit out of her and got her going crazy. He really made a bad choice. But that's a lot of that's on her. But at the same time, some of that shit he shouldn't be doing. Period. Like, and the reason why he's always injured because he's too big, bro. He's too dynamic to be that heavy. That's why he always injured. Point blank. Period. He's damn near 300 pounds jumping around like that. 280. Natural leaping ability.
Can't move with all that weight like that, toting all that weight.
You could jump up, fine. Coming down is the problem. That impact is not good for your knees, not good for your ligaments and shit. It's too much. He need to get down to at least 250. He get down to 250, 245, 248. He gonna be unstoppable because he gonna have that wind. He gonna be unstoppable, but he too big. Well, I'm saying all that to say
He don't got that discipline. Some of these kids, some of these black kids, they just love to fucking eat. He don't want to just he don't want to just keep food out of his damn mouth. That's what it is, man. Let's be
what I'm
honest.
saying all that to say is that's the type of guy that the NBA wants. Because as soon as they give you that money, you're gonna give it right back. Because you don't have discipline. You're gonna get in trouble, you're gonna give it back to the league. All these guys are in cahoots. These lawyers, these agents, these managers, these owners and shit. A lot of them family members, man. You get in trouble, you feeling this family member because I got a lawyer for you, man. You call the case, you don't got to worry about anything. Oh, you got a family lawyer? No. I got the best guy. It's always a family member. You need an agent? No. I know your uncle's a lawyer, but I got the best guy. They send you to another family member. All your money you make come back to them when you don't have any discipline. That's the reason why the NBA push for these guys, man. They don't want no Kobe. The niggas, Kobe talking about, man, I don't go out like that because I'm trying to be the best. I'm trying to save my money. They don't want niggas like Kobe, man. That's why they had to make him pariah. They don't want niggas like that. They want niggas that still riding around showing choppers and shit. The NBA acting like they all appalled about this John Moran shit. They love niggas like that. Cause they know this nigga gonna catch a case, man. And he gonna die broke. We gonna get all our money back. You know what I'm saying? They love John Moran. They love these
and
guys.
That's why they're extending his suspension and stuff like that. Interesting that you said all of that. Yeah, Richie Rich, what you got to say on James Harden and all that situation, man?
I mean, James Harden, man. Let me just put it like this: in his 14 seasons in the NBA, this man has cracked above 45% shooting only 3 times. That tells you he's a gimmick player, dog. He's a gimmick player. You know what I'm saying? He's a dude that lives at the 3-point line and he
Mhm.
plays to get to the free throw line. I
Yeah.
mean, his most effective days were, when he played for OKZ and his first few years of early years with the Houston Rockets. But James Harden, man, he's just a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not effective. He's not an efficient player. Jeff Teague had. I was listening to this podcast of Jeff Teague. Y'all know if he's the former NBA point guard that used to play for the Atlanta Hawks. That
Former.
fool,
Mhm.
yeah, that fool came out of pocket and said that he would choose James Harden over D Wade. I'm like,
Yeah.
this dude need to be straight backhanded for saying something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what intangibles does James Harden display on the court that's gonna help you actually win games that matter? That
Mm.
dude does not do that. He don't got those intangibles. He's like the shooting guard version of. I'm not trying to diss Carmelo, but that's what he is to me. He's the shooting guard version of Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh,
Those guys, they out there trying to get their points.
a great
Yeah,
analogy. I didn't even see it
but
like that.
they're not guys that's going to sacrifice themselves. They're not going to give you effort on defense.
Mhm.
Yep. Or offense.
They're just not going to do the things that the outside of the box things to help you win games. I'm saying that's what the play are. But Carmelo Anthony, you can at least go to him down the stretch to hit you some shots. James Harden, you
Right.
can't because he's not going to make those shots at the end of the
You're not
at
gonna
the end
make
of the
them.
game. He's a choker. And
Yeah.
plus,
And you can't trust
if
you
you
can't
take
trust
if
James
you
Harden
take
because
away the
James
free
Harden
throws
has
away
to,
from him,
What happened, Rich?
if you
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, if you take away the free throws like the NBA did the last couple seasons, where they said, you know what, we not gonna be giving you all these free throws. You don't see how much his game took a dip.
Yeah.
His
Big deal.
game took a nosedive dip. Like, if you look at
So
his
they should
his
be
his,
calling him the
his
Big Dipper. The Big Dipper.
that's what I'm saying. Like, when Daryl Morey made that trade where he thought he was gonna he came up off of Ben Simmons for James Harden, and people was all getting excited that James Harden, he's gonna help Joel Embiid. I was like, bro, it's gonna be more of the same. In fact, this team got worse. They didn't advance at all. At least they got to the. I mean, they got to the second round with Ben Simmons. It's the same thing with James Harden. They got to the second round and they lost. They didn't make no improvements to that team at all. But and they thought they were getting. This is a former MVP player, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he should have been the MVP that year because he was just putting up numbers, man. He wasn't really. It was all like a smoke screen,
Sam Presti fucked
because
up
he
James
didn't show
Harden.
up in the
And the
postseason.
reason
He's
why
not one
Sam
of those
Presti
players
fucked
you
up
can
James
count
Harden
on
is
in the
because
postseason. And finals.
Sam Presti fucked up James Harden. The reason why he fucked up James Harden is because James Harden was a six man. If Sam Presti would have paid James Harden that $80 million, James Harden wouldn't be bouncing around the teams that he's been bouncing around. That nucleus with Oklahoma City would have stayed where they're at. Kevin Durant would have never left, and they would have had the perfect offset for James Harden and Russell Westbrook, because James Harden kept Russell Westbrook in check. Russell Westbrook kept James Harden in check, and it was a perfect symmetry. And that Oklahoma City Thunder team would have won NBA titles. But Sam Presti fucked the whole situation up. So really, it's a Sam Presti problem more than anything else. Because going back to Ross's, ancillary point, James Harden was always a fucking six man. He was never a star player. So if
Never.
Sam Presti would have just
Never.
gave him that damn $80 million instead of that $55 million deal, we're not talking about James Harden right now bouncing around
No,
from team to
no,
team to
hold
team. The
on, hold on,
motherfucker would have still been with OKC.
hold on, man. Sometimes niggas gotta accept their most prosperous levels. And they gotta accept where they at. He was not worth no 80 million. James Harden has gotten over like a fat rat, man. He is the most overpaid person in NBA history.
That's true.
It's like
He
they
is.
paying him to be a disgrace of a black man. Every time you see him, he's drunk out of his mind, fat as fuck in the club.
Yep.
Every time you see him, you don't never see this dude with no family. You don't never see this dude just like doing casual shit like having dinner. Like, you know what I mean? He ain't this dude been making so much money, he ain't had to do no endorsements. James Harden had to do no endorsements.
Yep.
He got a trademark beard. He ain't even trying to get no endorsements. Because he don't need them. He got so much fucking money to made off the NBA. This guy has been so
I mean, I think
overpaid.
he's with Adidas though.
Yeah, outside, but sure, I don't count the shoe endorsements. They ain't hoopers. I'm talking about like anything like insurance, blah 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 this and the third.
Yeah, because really, there's a market for his beard. Outside of Rick Ross, he has the next fire beard out there. He could have marketed that shit with beard oils and all that.
Not even just the fact that he got of the beard, the fact that he has a trademark look. That trademark look makes you. It's like Mr. T and Mike Tyson. Mister T, Mike Tyson. Well, not Mike Tyson. He ain't needed because he makes so much money. Mr. T, Hulk Hogan. These guys had actual endorsement deals too. Yep. Because they were iconic figures. You knew who the fuck they were. You know who James Harden is when you see him. But this dude, man, it's like this dude. You know how everybody else needs water to drink to live, and this nigga need a rosé to live. You know how niggas got to drink water? That nigga don't need to drink water. As long as he got a bottle of rosé, he's good. Every time you see him, he got a bottle of rosé, and he's half drunk, and he's like touching a stripper ass. And that's cool, but my thing is, then don't cap to say, man, I can't go to another team that's not ready to win the NBA because my game is ready. I need a team that's ready to match my game. Hey, bro, you the reason why your team can't get to the finals. Because in the playoffs, where is he? Now, you talk about somebody who choked in the playoffs. James Harden is a choker in the playoffs, boy. Because in the playoffs, they don't just put you on the free throw line on the playoffs. You gotta really get fouled. They don't just put you on the line in the playoffs, man. And James Harden, they should never been doing it, but they were trying to phase out Kobe so bad that they pretty much giving James Harden 10, 15 points a game. They're trying to phase out Kobe. Because James Harden he wasn't even getting fouled. He'll come to the hole and he'll put the ball underneath whoever's right there shoulder and lift up, and then there'll be a foul. Like he was creating the contact and they would put him on the line. In no level of basketball can you drive to the hoop, extend the ball low, and this is the problem with NBA players. A lot of them, like I said, they're dumb as hell. When you know James Harden is coming to the hole, just put your hands straight up. They got their hands still like this, and they're playing against a regular person. James Harden comes to the hole, put his shit down like this, and it's coming up every time, getting fouls and shit. He's making people touch him, and they put him on the line. If they took that away from this nigga is pedestrian. He ain't no better than the coldest nigga at the YMCA right now.
Yep.
Since they took that move for him. Now when he come through that shit, you notice they just stealing the ball going the other way.
Yep.
They just taking the ball. They like, hold on, man. Listen, we gave you 10 years of the stretching your arm out and touching people and getting fouls. That shit over with.
He was straight easy off that for years. Man, that dude just fell off a cliff, man. Right when they took that away from him, he fell off a cliff
immediately.
That's why I knew he wasn't a superstar in the league. You got all these people saying who came with that asinine stuff that said he's the greatest scorer ever to play the game. It was one of these reporters or something like that. I forgot who it was.
Whoever it was from ESPN. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
ESPN do. ESPN they'll say anything to try to. ESPN once they pick a bone with you and you do something they don't like, anything that get in LeBron James' way, or you do something they don't like, they'll pick a bone with you, or they'll find somebody and they'll over exaggerate their importance to try to diminish you. Because at that point they ain't like Kobe, so they came up with a thing called P.E.D.S. all of a sudden. they made they made a standard of basketball around LeBron James 26, 6 and 6. You know, and they made it so that was the greatest thing of all time, right? But we're
Yep.
watching the games and we're seeing that the points normally come when it don't matter. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like this dude's barely doing anything pivotal. We watch the games. People who actually play basketball, we know the nigga that scored, and we know the nigga that hit the real shots that knocked your dick in the dirt. He was like, damn, we didn't need him to hit that shot. We had the game, dude came down and scored 3 times in a row.
Mhm.
That's why we lost, man. Because at that time you spent and now your leg shot, and this dude, now he's taking over the game. There ain't nothing you can do about it now. You know what I mean? And the other guys,
Ross is right about that, man. Because
yeah,
there's been moments on the court. I'm sure Ross did that when he played playground ball. There was moments on the court, man. Me and Richie Rich would be playing, and now I can say it. You see, this is the thing. When we are the Jordan, Magic, and fucking Isaiah that can laugh at the shit. But obviously, when you were young like that, you're competitive. Man, there was a move that Richie Rich did. I ain't even see this shit was done in the NBA yet. I think Richie Rich was like the first one to do it low key. I think that shit was called the Euro step or some shit like that. He did this move on this motherfucker. It was boom, 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 boom. He went to the fucking basket and he did this shit on this dude 5 straight times. Dude wanted to fight his ass. I was low key like, when I play basketball, I'm not a fan, but I was low key looking at this shit like I'm a fan. Like I was like, this nigga getting fucked.
yeah.
So when you said dick in the dirt, this nigga's dick is in the dirt right now.
Yeah,
You don't know what the fuck to do.
you got humble. You got not. You got put on your stomach, man. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying?
he went and he did this shit, and he said, okay, because Richie Rich is one of them type of dudes. He don't realize that he kind of has an Earl Spence style of basketball. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Earl Spence will you run the same shit on you until you could prove to Earl Spence that he got to switch it up. Richie Rich is like that on the court. Richie Rich will run a move on you offensively until you figure it out defensively. And if you don't figure that shit out, it's kind of like he's pissing you off. He's making you want to fight him. He'll keep running that same move on you over and over and over again. He ran that same move on that dude 5 straight times. All I remember is the dude took the basketball, hit it on the fucking floor, and said, "Look here, man. I got my girl that's watching us play. You ain't gonna treat me like that, man." And he tried to pull up his set to fight him. I was laughing my ass off, man.
First of all, bro, don't bring a girl to the gym, man. If you can't stand to take no L, and you need to perform in front of your girl, what the fuck that got to do with me?
And his girl was getting turned on by Richie Rich. And Richie Rich wasn't even looking at her like that. She was getting turned on because women get attracted to the dude that is cool, calm, and collected. He kept running the same move on this dude, man. And I went to the dude, I grabbed him on the shoulder, and I said, in life, because I'm that kind of asshole. In life, we have to come to the realization that some things are just not meant for us. It's not meant for you to play basketball. So how about you just leave the basketball court while you've gotten partially embarrassed? Because it would be bad if we keep running this again. He didn't learn his lesson. He goes and switch up with another team. This is when you add injury to insult. Since Richie Rich ran the move on him, he didn't figure it out. Richie just said, "Fuck it, I'm running." He whispered in my ear, "It's like, Abe, I'm running the same move on this motherfucker. I don't give a fuck." He did it again, like 10 straight times on this nigga. And then when the nigga tried to fight him, I got in between it, and I was like, "Yo, listen, man, it's not that serious." Then he tried to throw a set, and all I remember was he did something where Richie Rich did the move on him. He elbowed him, and then this is what people think. Richie Rich got this smile. They think Richie Rich ain't. Man, Richie Rich got a lot of John Stockton in his ass. The very next play, Richie Rich did the move on him and then put an elbow to his fucking eye.
Yeah.
And then looked at him and said, "I'm just returning the favor."
Yeah.
And then the dude was like, "What's up? What you want to do?" It's like Richie Rich just dropped the basketball court and said, "Don't let this smile fool you. You got your girl right there. You already get embarrassed on the court. Do not get embarrassed
Right.
by us doing upsets."
You
Like
can't
that's
get
a double embarrassment for you, man.
yeah, you can't get done up on the basketball court and get whooped at the same time.
Yeah. So you might as well pick your poison right now.
Right. If you fight, you gotta win. You gotta win that fight.
Yeah,
You
man.
can't even get into a draw. If you got whooped and then there's a draw in a fight, you
Mhm.
lost the fight too. You gotta dominate in the fight if you lose in the basketball.
I don't
You
know if
better.
Richie Rich remember that moment, but that was the one time I played with him. I was like a fan that day because I was like, damn, man, he's embarrassing the fuck out of this dude. And really, that was the games. We was winning games just off that. I didn't do shit. I just was like
Mhm.
you know how you a bystander, you just standing there. What works, works.
You don't have to
And he
do
just kept
nothing.
doing it over and over and over again. That's James Harden. James Harden keeps getting guys on the offensive end that keep running the same play on his ass over and over again. He doesn't get held to the standard because he's too fat. He's not in shape to play defense because his size, he's not supposed to be able to stand in front of no Stephen Curry, but he's supposed to be able to use muscle against Stephen Curry because of his height and his size. But he's not in shape to do
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
And that's the problem.
If
He
I'm
What
a
walks
the
in
problem is with these crop? Let me say something real quick. You know what the problem with these guys? When you look at Kobe, you look at Jordan. These guys were able to reinvent their games, man. The problem with the players of this era, they can't reinvent their game. James Harden is still doing that stupid step back three.
right,
Where's the evolution in this game? What this dude is not reinvented himself. Okay, it's not working at this point of your career. What else are you gonna try to be relevant in this game going forward? I don't see nothing. I remember when we talked about James Harden in past lives. We was like, man, he got no post game. He don't be he ain't trying to go for mid range shots. This dude's still not doing that. Come on, bro.
right.
Your field goal percentages. Look at his last 3 seasons. This man is shooting
trash.
41%, 40% from
Yeah,
the field goal
he
percentage.
trash. He trash.
He trash.
But that's how you know they pick and choose. They pick and choose to who that matters for, right? Because when Kobe was playing, that's all they used to talk about. But his true shooting percentage was always above 50. But that's all they used to talk about. Anytime Kobe shot below 50, they'll talk about that shit for a whole week. Like, is he really efficient? But James Harden spent his whole career under 50.
Yep.
Under 45. You know what I'm saying? Who else?
Under 45. Go look at those numbers.
Russell Westbrook is his 50% is trash.
Inefficient. Russell Westbrook don't shoot no 50%.
Right. It's trash. He's horrible. But they don't get these guys slack because they good with these guys. They like these guys. They like the fact that they undisciplined and unruly and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I got a big point I was about to make about James Harden. James Harden is that dude in high school who learned one move and he don't do it just because you can't stop it. That's the only thing he can do. James Harden will step back when there ain't nobody guarding him. When you cross somebody and there's enough space, you can just shoot.
Yep.
James Harden will cross you and then he'll step back. Make the shot harder. Because the farther you away, the harder the shot is. That's just
exactly.
Right? He already got the space he needed because he crossed you, right? Or people don't realize a lot of times he don't cross people. James Harden does this. He dribbles and he pushes you with his shoulder.
Yep.
And then he dribbles off like Wade shoot.
Yep.
Wade did it better though, and he pushes you off with his shoulder, and then he gets the space that he needs, right?
Yep.
But then he does this. He steps back, and then he has to do that. Yep. So defenders, like, you know, the defense ain't as good as it used to be in Kobe day and Jordan day. Because if you know this guy got to step back, then what you would do is you won't play him so tough.
Yep.
You will allow him to get his crossover off, knowing that after he gets his crossover off, he's
gonna step back.
So after he crosses over, you can jump on top of him.
You can just step into him.
You give him cushion until that moment. You know when he steps back, then you can defend the shot.
Then you can defend him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where everything starts. You know what I mean? But James Harden's gonna do one
Yeah.
of two things. He's either driving all the way to the basket and stretching his arms out like somebody touched me, and then or he's gonna do a step back three. It's automatic.
Yep.
It's automatic. And if he's gonna drive, you just lead him to the center. You don't have to worry about that. You just make sure he don't get to a strong hand and let him drive with his weak hand to the center. And whatever happens. Because he don't got no mid-range game.
Exactly.
Defense ain't hard on niggas who got it. But when he had that 3-point line, you just give him space. You let him, oh yeah, you got me. Then you just jump on the left-hand side.
And
You know
that's
what I
it.
mean? Now you don't square him up. You just jump on his left-hand side. That way, either he gonna shoot, you gotta shoot because he gonna pick up his dribble, or you gotta get rid of the ball. He's not hard to defend. This era don't know how to play defense. They don't know how to play defense.
His whole stance on wanting to leave this time around is because we know why he wanted to leave with Brooklyn. He was saying that it was Kyrie, and then it just didn't work out because Kyrie held up that situation and then being on the court. But the reason why he wants off Philly now is because he's saying that Daryl Morey reneged on the deal. The deal was he was gonna not sign his contract and not take a max, and he was actually gonna give back money so that they can go and get players to put around him and Embiid. But after this season, this disappointing season from him, Daryl Morey reneged on the deal. He said, "Nah, we ain't giving you a max. Either you opt in, or you gonna do another deal for lesser money." That's when James Harden said, "Oh, okay, you're not gonna agree on the handshake deal that we had. Okay, all right, I'm out." But realistically, what would you do?
Daryl Morey is part of the problem. He's the one that gave James Harden all these big ass contracts. I think he's just tired of that nigga. He's like, "Fuck you, man.
Yeah,
I gave you all these big ass contracts since Houston days, and you ain't been doing shit. Fuck you." He's at that fuck you point.
The problem is these general managers, believe it or not, they get overpaid and they don't be knowing basketball like they should to have that they have control over that much money. No guy who's not a dual way player should be getting max money.
Exactly.
Why you give somebody who's only effective on one side of the court that type of money?
It's ridiculous.
What happens when you have a bad game? How can you help the team?
Exactly.
Think about it. In the finals, they always want to give Kobe a hard time because Kobe had a bad shooting percentage in Game 7 of the Celtics. Nobody in that whole game shot 50% on either team. Everybody struggled in that game. That game was a defensive game. You know why the Lakers still won in a game that LeBron James would have lost? Because Kobe could do more. Damn, am I getting sick? Kobe could do more than just score. He could defend. He could facilitate. He could rebound. That's why the Lakers won.
Yep.
Kobe don't get those 15 rebounds. If he don't defend, they lose. Because nobody was scoring the ball like that. Then every shot was everything was a putback. It was offensive rebound. Like everybody was inefficient in that game. But what if you take out Kobe and you put James Harden? The Lakers lose that game. They probably get blown out that game because he'll shoot them out the game. And he's not gonna go down low and get no rebounds. All he knows how to do is drive with the low, reach out, and do the step back. And now you're playing against the Celtics. You do the step back, and Tony Allen gets you down there at half court with your dribble picked up.
Exactly.
Trying to call a timeout because he done jumped on you, so he could play defense. So yeah, man. James Harden, he's a sad disappointment, man. Like his career, they should do a 30-30 on his career.
Mm-hmm.
You should get a 30-30 of what an NBA player should never aspire to be.
He finally caught up to him. Now he's not a max player anymore. He just got a dose of reality. He knows he's not a max player in this league no more.
Right. And now
if he ever was one.
Now you want to get mad and leave.
Yep.
The thing is, he was never supposed to be a max player, bro. But this how bad they wanted Kobe out of there. He was never supposed to be a max player, bro. They paid
Fact.
this man. They paid this man to shoot threes and to get to the and go to the free throw line and do nothing else.
Man, this live right here. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've been that entertained between the way that y'all been breaking shit down. I'm sure everybody else that was listening in entertained like a motherfucker, man. We went through all these topics through a breeze, and it was just natural, man, the way that we did it. And also the fact that we harped on the point that of why the current NBA is in the position that it's in right now. And it's trash because again, the standard has gone down. That's why I hold my position the way that I hold it when I talk about modern NBA. But at the same time, um, I hold the positions that I hold on a lot of different things that's revolving the NBA itself. But it is what it is. This live has been very good. Football season is about to start pretty soon. They're getting ready to go into preseason. Richie Rich, I'm gonna fill you in on some stuff offline that me, you, and Ross need to get in the mindset of. There's an idea that's been circling between me and Ross. We're gonna try to see if we can get you in on that. But outside of that, next week we back to talking about what we're supposed to be talking about, which is the fact that we have to ask the question: is LeBron James a GOAT? Is Stephen Curry a GOAT? And we got to get back to that because at the end of the day, the modern NBA is trash. So because it's trash, the level is trash. So the GOAT conversation and the GOAT topic to me in today's game is trash. That's just
Yeah,
my honest opinion on it. Like we shouldn't even be saying is LeBron James the GOAT? Is Stephen Curry the GOAT? We should be saying are they the best player now in the game? Because
right.
the goals have already been established. The pantheon of greatness have already been established.
When
We
it,
know who the guys are that are the best at what they do. So let's just leave it at that. And let's just leave these guys in the middle of the pack or the
exactly.
middle of the barrel and just run them through the mill of what they are. You know what I'm saying? And I really want to get on Stephen Curry next week because he mentioned some cockamamie nonsense about if I could give two titles away, I would give one to Reggie Miller and Steve Nash. First of all, your titles were given to you. When you were given titles, you don't have the right to give titles. Let me say it again. When you were given
Man,
titles,
this
you don't have
That
the
boy
motherfucker.
gonna
right
go in on
to
Stephen
give
Curry
titles.
again.
So you don't sit here and
Bro, you
say
say you have 5
titles that I
minutes.
want to give when you've been given all your fucking titles. Like that's disrespectful to me, man. To say that you want to give Reggie Miller one, give Steve Nash, you were given fucking titles. So if your titles were given, you can't give what was given to you. Like that shit don't work. Like if you
I,
earned it, then you can say I'll give it. But
first
that
of
shit was
all,
given. Like it's crazy.
I disagree with his shit was given, but the fact that he's saying he'll give a title away, it goes to show you you when you talk about giving titles away, you're a beta male, man. This
Yep.
gener- you know what I mean? Now I see why your wife want to have sex with other men, man.
Yeah.
You don't give shit away.
Yep.
What you mean? This is your title. Why you give a fuck about Steve Nash so bad?
Yeah.
Why you
Exactly.
care about Reggie Miller wouldn't give you no titles if he
Yep.
won it? Reggie Miller ain't wired that way.
Mm-mm. He
Giving
What
ain't.
you
away
talking about?
titles, they tripping. The blood, sweat, and tears that they had to put in the win. I ain't giving
Yeah,
nothing
he said
away.
it. He
You
said it.
gotta
I'm
earn
glad y'all
those
agree.
things.
I'm glad y'all agree on that stance, but he said it. So that's when I said, when you've been given something, you don't have no right to say it. Like if Kevin Durant said, I'll give two titles away, which he wouldn't say, then he'll be well within his right to say it because he earned all his fucking titles. But motherfuckers that really earn titles, they don't give shit away. This is how you could tell Stephen Curry is a spoiled brat that was given fucking titles. Because people that really earn titles, they don't give titles away, man. They just don't do that. That when you've been given
Sorry, no,
something
you gotta
and
earn
you
that.
live life on easy mode, you're gonna give shit away.
He got a beta male
That's how it
mentality.
Yeah.
works.
He got a beta male mentality, man.
Yeah.
That's why Shaq ripped Charles Barkley on that show every chance he get.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
because
you're not a fucking champion.
Charles Barkley was he's the reason why he didn't get no rings.
Yep.
Charles Barkley played magnificent in that finals, but he gassed the fuck out. Too fucking fat.
Yep.
Like, bro, you can't be. That's the reason I don't respect Charles. I don't care what Shaq did. I don't respect Shaq because I seen Shaq was a benefactor of a game plan that was
Yep.
for him. He wasn't no bona fide Elijah Warren, man.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Warren got the ball no matter. Shaq was the type of player that was temperamental. He said it. If I don't get the ball, I'm not gonna guard the house. Like, bro, and Phil Jackson dealt with that shit. Like, bro, if you don't guard the
Mm-hmm.
house, I'm gonna get rid of you.
Yep.
You can't tell me if Kobe scored more points than you, that you have an attitude now you're gonna play defense.
Yep.
So I don't respect him. I don't respect nobody who get paid to be an athlete that's fat, man.
Yep.
You don't do nothing else. Why you not in shape?
Exactly. It's that simple.
Why you not in shape? You
It's
get
that
paid to be
fucking
in
simple.
shape. Fuck you
It's that
talking
fucking
about?
simple.
You know what I mean? So I don't respect him. To me, Shaq he ain't as great as people make him seem. Neither is Charles Barkley. I don't care how good he was. He didn't win no championship for a reason, man.
Yep.
He didn't win no championship for a reason. And Charles Barkley is one of the last people that can talk about the super team shit.
Yep.
Because he's a nigga who tried it and he failed.
He tried it multiple times and he failed, man.
And he
Multiple
failed.
times.
Now, granted,
So that's why he's bitter. That's why he's bitter and he's salty about it. But guys, I got to get out of here, man. This is one of those lives where it's like you're gonna go on forever, but I got to get out of here. If I don't, I'm gonna miss that damn appointment, man. It's been real. It's been easy. Tune in tomorrow. We about to go in, and Richie Rich, I'm gonna fill you in on some stuff Saturday. I just need some finalization from Ross to see if he's gonna say we okay with it, and then we'll just go from there. But outside of that, this live has been real. Next week, y'all already know what the topic is. Stephen Curry has been given titles. A giver does not have the right to give, and that's what we're gonna focus on. It's been easy. It's been real. Peace.
Peace.